Winner bracket semifinal. Let's go! Infernal Shrines, the first map in the best of 5 between Exodia and the Gremlins. We got a bit of a banger today. This should be a really cool match that we now have. So we are in the best of 5s now. We are in the playoffs. We have in total 18 heroes that are completely banned. Malfurion got added. And we already saw our first game go to a 5th map. And in addition to that, also some very interesting support chokes that happened, where you can really start to take the opponent's healers out. And we'll see if that happens again, if we're going to go to the last map once more or not. But this should be a pretty cool series. On the one hand, we got Exodia, obviously. They ended up 3rd place in the round robin. The Gremlins, part of the top 2, so they were able to skip the first round of the winner bracket here in the playoffs. We are currently in that bit of a weirdo state still, where Blizzard has added the Pinnacle quest, but we're still waiting for some adjustments on at least the numbers. Thrall, Kerrigan, and Falstad currently extremely powerful, oftentimes either banned or very early picked. And then it becomes a question of how far you can go with your stacking. So they played a huge role. But at least for the second week of the playoffs, I would expect that we're going to get the adjustment patch where some of the numbers are tweaked a bit, especially when we're talking about somebody like Thrall, where they apparently are planning to put his second reward tier towards 55 stacks compared to the 40 where it currently stands. So, yeah, we'll see. But suffice it to say that the patch where they added the Pinnacle rewards was actually quite interesting. And I don't really have anything against those Pinnacle rewards in general. They are a really nice evolution of the quest system, of the stacking system that they had in the first place. And I think it's just pretty natural what they're trying to do here. Makes it also interesting as the games continue, and you have to think a bit about how you approach this, as either the team that plays with the quest or the opponent definitely influences some of the fights. And it might also influence some of the other talent choices. I gave the example of Falstad, who now all of a sudden, with that auto-attack quest that is mainly being taken at this point, after he hits level 20, has a bigger incentive now to go into Epic Mount, because he can control the map even better with that added damage, and either start to pressure structures, or just deal with a boss that is walking down the lane, or an objective, or just the minions themselves. We get Gul'dan as our first pick on Infernal Shrine, so currently map number 1. Heroes can only be played once within the series, as already highlighted. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Muradin, Leoric, those are the first 2 that are getting locked in here. Benny, currently not here, so Exodia is playing with a sub, which means that we now have Bloodcool on the front line with Muradin. We might start to shift things around a bit later, but for now, that's where we're at. We have Kerrigan still open, and Infernal Shrines is obviously a pretty good map for Kerrigan if you want to go down that path. And well, here we go. Kerrigan gets taken, and so does ETC. Now, you can definitely make an argument that it should have been Exodia that picks Kerrigan. After they already banned out Thrall and Falstad, I think it was pretty much a given that Kerrigan gets taken. So, yeah, that's pretty big there. And, yeah, well, I mean, again, the Ravage quest baseline, you get tons of damage out right now. They think they can deal with Kerrigan here. She's great on the map, even regardless of her changed quest. I mean, that obviously puts her more so into the priority seat, but keep in mind, we have 18 heroes already banned out. So, by definition, through that, she's already taking a much higher spot now. And she is pretty solid when it comes to shrine battles. The 2 maps where you see her typically the most is Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen. They have an additional stun with ETC and then Horrify from Gul'dan. So there's a lot of tools that they can for sure use here. So, yeah, let's see. Cassia, banned after Malthael got the axe. With Muradin and Leo, the red team has a strong front line too. If anybody is going for a curveball pick, it's probably going to be Dino on the red team side. But we are like, I mean, you might see a triple frontline from them as well. They've been doing this a lot throughout the tournament. And I guess technically you could also start to put a bit of a choke point pressure onto side laners. Not necessarily in game number 1, don't get me wrong. But let's see. Jaina and Uther. That leaves us with the final pick. Abathar in game number 1. Get the copy on Jaina and put the symbiote on Muradin. Yeah, don't think that's going to happen. But we have seen a fair share of Abathar already. So Abathar has been picked more, which is cool. Which is actually very nice. And, well, for the blue team, still need a support for Banana. Ana is still up. Ana was not banned, so If teams want to ban Ana, they have to ban it against Banana. And Banana picks Ana. So, well, there it is. Samuro taken 2. That gives us a triple front line for them as well. And that leaves us with the final pick for map number 1. Again, best of 5 series here in the playoffs until we reach the grand final. This should be an awesome game. Yep, this should be a very, very good one. So, let's have a look and see who claims victory over here. Who takes the lead in the series and takes the first step towards reaching the next round of the winner bracket. As we have the Abathur pick after all. I was talking about it a second ago. Didn't really think they would bust it out in game number 1, but here we have it. Abathur for the Jaina copy and the Muradin support. So ladies and gentlemen, map number 1, Infernal Shrines. The Gremlins on the left in blue, as we're starting the party up over here with Gavlo on Carrigan. Of course, the new baseline quest, which is the most important one in that context here with Ravage now. We got Banana on Ana. Simply on ETC, Nano is playing Gul'dan, and then we got Sadath on Samuro. Over on the right side for the red team, Dainu on Jaina for the team. We got Harzobs on Abathur, Bloodcool on Muradin, Yaz on Uther, and Dequaza, last but not least, playing Leoric for the team. Looking for a lot of the AoE that is going to contribute here, of course. So, yeah, let's get the show on the road. As usual, we have Pursuit of Flame on the side of Gul'dan, the standard talent these days still. Obviously, you have to be a little bit more careful right now with the quest. If you die, then you lose. You snooze, you lose. So, have to be careful on Gul'dan. But again, it's usually fine, and you get some nice rewards out of that. So as we're heading into this, Benny already sitting at the side here with a bit of a symbiote that is going to assist him. We got top side. Samuro slowly starting to make his way over, running straight into a couple of toxic nests. Abathur sitting in the middle of the map. Not even a skin here. That's just shameful. No Pajama Thor, no nothing. We don't have like a master skin or anything of the sorts. So that's just a little bit disappointing. That's a yellow card in my book, honestly. If you already play the slug, the king, then yeah, that would be the moment where you want to at least show him a little bit of love and tribute and go for it. It's also a main account play. I mean, holy hell, the disrespect here. So, disrespect. Combo from Carrigan. Yeah, you gotta respect at least Muradin. Nano's in trouble. Tries to suck out the life from Muradin. That didn't work. So, off we go. That is the end of the stacking for Gul'dan, at least for now. Reset back to 0. And, yeah, bit of a sad moment here. Thankfully didn't lose too much, but still. They were the ones trying to get a kill, and then all of a sudden it turned against them, and I was like, bye-bye. Garrigan with 22 stacks. She's just going to make her way through the lane, trying to get the stacks for now on the minions. Later on we might see a few kills when it comes to the first objective. Dequaza gets an assist from Abathur up at the top, and down at the bottom of the map, Nano back to business, but of course he has a bit of work to do if he really wants to complete this quickly. So, nice move for Exodia to be able to take him out early and just stall that progress a little bit. Helps them with the first objective for sure. In addition, we're now having Frost Armor for Jaina. And on the side of Banana, we get the Debilitating Dart. Carrigan went into the Psionic Pulse. And over on the left, that's a bit of a trap attempt, I guess. Gavlo on the Raccoon. I like that. Might not really fit thematically with the skin that he's using here. But the Raccoon love is always nice. But, yeah. With this being said and done, over on the right side, we still had the camp claimed. The blue team is now doing the same, so things have slowed down a bit after we saw first blood for Exodia. But this is really going to be a tough game. I mean, this is one of those matches where you would expect that it goes down to the wire. We had a few of those even in the round robin, where it then turned out to be a little bit more snowbally than expected. Particularly the Kings and the Gremlins have just done exceptionally well, but Exodia, now that we're in the playoffs, wants to, of course, to go far here, make it not only to the next round, but reach the grand final and aim for the tournament victory. But right now, they are taking a bit of a backseat on the objective, maybe? No, they take Samuro out at the top, and that should allow them to take control here in the middle. That's already a very nice lead for the blue team with 20 to their name. And of course, now the red team is slowly starting to take over, but they could technically, with Gul'dan back to business, still move in. The problem is they don't have level 7 talents. With 2 kills now under the belt of Exodia, that level 7 talent is a nice advantage to have, and it's going to take a bit more time for the Gremlins to get to that point. Gul'dan is sitting at 6 stacks. The re-engage is now coming, and immediately the attack on Gul'dan once again, but this time they're not able to take him down, and he attempts to turn it. They're going for Blood Cool, and they get the kill. Nice. Even with Abathur's support, they weren't able to hold it. The Quasar gets the symbiote though, as they're trying to get at least the objective, and they should be able to get themselves the Punisher. 40 stacks in just a moment. Blue team is catching up a bit, but they won't be able to claim this. They can still get another kill, maybe even 2, as Dino is getting attacked. Beautiful juke, and then the symbiote. So that made sure that Jaina survives. But with Leo gone for a couple more seconds, the defense is starting off early. So they are moving in and taking this very, very quickly. Interesting also, when we're looking at level 7 talents and some of the choices that were made here, we have an adjustment for Abathur now. So the network carapace, which is going to help them a lot more to push the lanes, but they're giving up Mule as a result. Now you always have to ask yourself, how much are you actually going to get out of Mule in the first place? And if you're playing with network carapace, you can really get lane pressure a lot during objective phases and maybe even damage your opponent's keep or core. So it's not necessarily a bad talent. It was played in the past too. Traditionally we see still Mule. Most teams believe that they get more value out of muling up structures throughout the game. But obviously you can very, very easily make a good argument for that not being a necessity and instead specking straight into something like Network Carapace on level 7. And Abathur is the only one that still has Mule. Back in the good old days, there was like a ton of supports that had Mule, Malfurion for example, Tyrande, and some others. They all had Mule, but nowadays it's only Abathur that still runs it. Kerrigan now on 86 stacks, so she's done with her first quest reward. That's some additional damage on Ravage, which makes it a bit easier to get to the 125, which would complete that quest. And that's what they're working at as we speak. The blue team still with the lead in experience after they also picked up 2 kills for themselves. We have them now with Illusion Master for Serath Samuro, and we get the nano boost for Ana as they are using that talent advantage to go straight in and take one of the camps. So coming in and claiming that quickly. Nice little attack here in the middle too. Gul'dan is not done with the quest yet, so he needs to be a bit careful, but getting that slow damage out against the structures here is definitely very, very nice. We got Ultimate Evolution on 10 and Avatar. No shocker here either. For Kerrigan, we have actually seen once at least Maelstrom, but Ultralisk is still the main talent to take here for sure. But topside, Samuro is still holding the line. We currently have also Kerrigan, as mentioned before, with 110 stacks, really getting closer to completing the pinnacle reward here. Horrify, Muradin went deep, Leo comes in with the Entomb, they're nicely trapped here, and it's Kerrigan that falls first. Kerrigan eliminated, the Abathur copy, it's a double Muradin that they're having to face off against. But they get the rest of the team out of the way. The quest is now completed for Gul'dan too, so dying isn't a problem any longer. But that was a nice third kill for Exodia, and definitely helped them. So, smooth moves for them. And the next objective announced as the attention is slowly starting to focus onto the top lane. Noteworthy also, Jaina is nearly done with her baseline. That's pretty big actually. Once that she has that ice block is just worth a lot. If you're going up against someone like Kerrigan, for example, and you can ice block those stuns and the attack or just ETC, that's fantastic. So they're going to try and complete this as quickly as they can once that the fight here starts. But for Jaina, for Dino, that's awesome. Very much so in regards to the second objective of the map. And it's also a Frozen Punisher. So that's a pretty tough boy. Level 13 is very close though for the Gremlins. And they have held 2 of their heroes still in the mid and the bot lane for that very reason. And now that they are getting closer to hit that next talent, they are starting to move towards the top, trying to exploit that, of course. 13 is available. They are a bit behind on the objective, but they're now starting to take control. for Gul'dan. That means we got Fell Armor, so that's already quite nice. Sleep Dart on Muradin, the combo, and some extra damage. That Ultralisk from Gavlo unleashed a little bit too late. Hazu already using the copy, losing it very, very quickly here. That double Jaina play didn't do a lot for them. So now the blue team takes full control of the top. They get the kill on Leoric as well. 3 kills to 3, and an easy objective for the Gremlins. So, yeah, very nicely done. That one was clean. Get level 13, use it as an advantage, move in, do your thing, and they were able to take out Leo in the process and can now go for the fort as Amuro has moved down to the bottom of the map and get some additional value there as we speak. So, yeah, it's definitely on right now. It's a nice back and forth in game number 1. There's the mosh pit, and Anna is gone. Anna is gone, and Dino makes it. Ice blocks some of the plays that we're seeing from the Gremlins. Now Kerrigan is in trouble, so is E.T. See ya! He's gone, and that is now maybe even... Yeah, he's dead too. Nano's dead as well. He's trying to go for the quick drain, but with the symbiote in play, and then Uther also joining the fun, there was just no way. We might even end up with a fort falling, which is actually crazy when you think about it. The fort falls, which is awesome for the Gremlins, but they lost 4 heroes in the process. It was a numbers disadvantage with Abathar helping out here, since Samuro was down at the bottom of the map. It's also one of the reasons why the blue team has now, after those kills, not fallen way further behind in experience. But, of course, there is momentum now for Exodia that they can use to get themselves some additional camps, which we already see play out in the middle here. And, yeah, it's going to be a bit tougher to get back from. Losing this many is a problem, for sure. Half a level until 16, though, for Exodia. With 1 fort gone, still plenty to do. Abathar, yeah, with the next word Carapace. It's going to have a bigger impact later on in the game, I'd say. But right now, it's just camp after camp that gets claimed by Exodia. More lane pressure. And Abathar's actually helping out at the top right now. So gets that shield in and helps him very, very easily to move that lane back a bit. But Samuro is already on the quest. And Abathar alone is not going to be able to handle that. Numbing Blast comes in. And we have Adrenaline Boost for Abathar on 16, so getting that extra movement speed now too. Plus Benediction, of course, for Uther. So getting that double is always very, very nice when you're starting to make your play. Over in the middle of the map, Dainu alone on lane, but they have several heroes next to him. So that if he gets attacked, they can jump on them and try and take him out. Yes! Slap them! Abathar with a big slap right there. I have to say, I still think that they should change or give Abathar a new ult. Abathar needs a new ult on level 10 that we call Bitch Slap. And basically what it does, if you can attack somebody from behind with Abathar, and with attack I mean you slap them, then they instantly die. Or at least lose 50% of their hit points, so if you go for a double slap, then, you know, they go down. The possibilities here are endless. Medivh Abathar all of a sudden becomes a terrifying combo. Getting Morales with a nano boost on Abathar into play is terrifying. Everybody's going to run away from him. And if you can also just see him tunnel somewhere, and then he comes out of a bush just rushing towards you and starts swinging, I mean, everybody is going to be terrified. So, fantastic ideas to make a battle Abathar a huge thing. Blizzard should definitely take that into consideration, because my boy needs a little bit more love. Save the slug, that's really what we need to do here. And I think my idea so far is by far the best. I mean, it's just glorious. And we will, of course, then also have the build just properly recognized. Everybody's going to go bitch slap Abathar because it's just amazing. Abathar hides behind Stitches. Stitches gets a hook, and Abathar just comes in. Bam! And everybody's dead. It's fantastic. So, yeah, I want to see that battle, Abathar. See, look at him. Timid in the base. Unacceptable. No. He needs to get his glory out into the big wide world and just drop everybody that is in range. But yeah, so at this point, we have now the next objective up. 7 kills to 3. A little bit of... Oh, not cool, my friend. Yeah, that Horrify is hitting more so Leo than anyone else. So you need to get the Divine Shield out to save him. Hazu's copy is nearly gone. Went for Jaina, but before he can even get the rotation out, he's essentially nearly insta-killed. So, problem for him. Hazu gets pushed back, and that ultimate evolution didn't do a lot. So yeah, that copy fell a bit short. Gets a bit more damage in before he expires. Still. 18 to 18, and now we have our 5-man fight here in the middle. They're dead even on Shrine minions, or at least they were. Now the blue team taking advantage with 32, 36. Oh my god, they're gonna get this one for sure, aren't they? Bit of range damage from Gul'dan, and this is an easy one. It's an Arcane Punisher that we're grabbing here too, so nice for the Gremlins. They need to close the experience gap a little bit. And ooh, that's a kill! The Slug! No! Abathar is gone. The king is dead. Long live the king. Samuro with a big, big W over here. Came in and just took him out. Yeah, Hazops, that is a yellow card. He already was on 1 yellow card for not taking a skin, and that makes 1 red card. So, yeah, he's out. He's out. This is just unacceptable behavior. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Jaina gets killed simply with an interesting mosh pit that he has right there. I'm not quite sure if he fat-fingered the button or if he just was so happy that they killed Jaina that he was saying, hey, it's time to dance, baby. But something happened there. Now, in the meantime, the Punisher is doing work down at the bottom of the map, so it's a Punisher party that we're getting there. The fort destroyed, and they are busying themselves in the middle of the map to try and do the same thing here too. So that's another fort already gone. Level 20 talents, therefore a little bit faster for the Gremlins. 43,000 damage for Gul'dan, by the way. Jaina on 33,000. And then 24k for Abathar. But the 20s are in. Nano Infusion. Samuro is upgrading into the 3-bladed style. And yep, in the middle. Yeah, Samuro is already all over the place again. ETC, by the way, went for the shield, so power of the Horde right there. And I guess Gul'dan upgrades into Haunt, which he just now did. But the red team has now lost a lot of ground. Yeah, they definitely started to lose lots and lots of ground here. And that's for sure a concern now. So the blue team, it will reign supreme for a bit longer until 20 talents are ready for Exodia. But yeah, all forts gone. Blue team still has all of them. We got Redemption for Uther. Muradin with Rewind. No shock there. Wintermute for Jaina as she's upgrading. And Leoric, of course, with Buried Alive. So good Entomb could turn that. The Carrigan, Crest Long completed, is now getting even more damage in. Another Horrify. But they are just missing that angle a bit to lock that kill in. So that's a big cooldown to be burned by Gul'dan now. Carrigan with 31,000 damage, by the way, as a bit of a side note. So she alone is already getting closer and closer to the output that we're seeing from Jaina on the other side of the map. Yeah, Abathar still with a copy. Haven't fully committed to anything here yet when it comes to the fights. Also waiting for the next objective to pop, of course. The problem, or one of the problems that we're likely going to get eventually, is that Samuro might go a bit ham on all of this. Once that he has a lot of space to work with right now, and that can be a huge problem. So we'll see how this is going to work out as he's taking towards the side lane. But all the way up towards the top, camp is being invaded. They are sniffing it out. They are too late to do anything about it though. Not really interested either. Abathar is now just hiding in base a bit over here. And with the objective being announced, this is where we're going to soon get some copy damage or copy plays again. So, yeah, Cloud plays over here from Exodia. As we have both Dino and Bloodcool running the sleepy Cloud. They should probably get themselves some energy drink or a little bit of coffee, because they are going to need it for the next fight. That's for sure. If the red team wins it, then the fort will fall on the blue team side. But they still have a fountain right now. That gives them a slight edge. They can pre-tap or just go there in the middle of the battle. And if they take it, then we're talking keep. There's the Horrify, and Uther gets just burned down. Has redemption and will be back, but that's the forced death right there. Jaina Immediately shutting down. Muradin is going a little bit deep, considering that everybody else is not close enough. What an entomb, though, by Dequaza. Calm down, dude. He gets killed quickly, but Anna gets caught and killed. But Carrigan is jumping in for Bloodcool, and Muradin is eliminated. Now Yazu falls next. Carrigan on an absolute tear, and that only leaves Dainu and Abertha. So this is another objective for the Gremlins. Huge fight, huge battle. And the Gremlins with a big victory here. That was a pretty important fight that they just took there. And they murdered them. They absolutely murdered them on this one. So, nicely done. Gotta give them that. That was really well played. Now, with 9 kills to 8, taking the lead not only in experience, but also in kills and structures, they have now lots of space to work with. We have them at 39, so they're slowing down the Punisher just a little bit, trying to get those lanes properly set up too. Dainu has apparently a bit of a death wish. I mean, they didn't see him here, but just imagine Jaina being caught alone between lanes at that point in time. That would have been an utter disaster. You can't lose her right now. Oh god, that would have been devastating. But they're fine. So we got currently the bot lane pushed out slightly, mid lane, that's where the camps are starting to collide. And they are very likely going to jump to the top soon to try and get the Punisher there. But first going for the camp down at the bottom of the map. So it's a huge delay for the objective. Garflo has been sitting there for a while now, really enjoying the view, I suppose. But making sure that he has the position so he can get an easy minion. Jumps in, gets the Mortar Punisher. And now they have to try and maximize the damage that they can do with it. Yeah, 9 kills to 8, and the damage output, Carrigan has of course started to pull a little bit farther ahead, but she's still behind not only Gul'dan, but also Jaina. And as it happens, behind Samuro as well. So she's only 4th in the ranking. And talking about Samuro, he was very busy at the bottom of the map, and Serath still is, so he is still pressuring this. But topside, the wall is already gone. And they're trying to go for that keep. But the blue team, they're not just single-mindedly throwing everything against that keep. Rotating towards the middle. And Samuro is opening up the bot lane a bit. He has a catapult to assist him. The Inspire buff on the minions is of course triggering too. And Serath can do some damage. But I gotta say, given all of that prep work that they did and the timing around the Punisher, I mean, kind of expected a little bit more. Well, it's 50% of the keep at least gone, but not more than that. They are opening the bot lane up, I suppose. If Abathar had gone Mule, this wouldn't have mattered at all. He would just Mule up and repair the top keep. But now there's still a chance to win the next fight and then turn it. The situation is still a bit grim for Exodia though. Mainly because you haven't taken out a fort on your opponent's side at all, which means even the few catapults that are now pushing, the scale is slowly and steadily tipping in favor of the Gremlins as we are heading into minute 22 right now. So scaling is definitely a problem that they gotta face. And this is all still just game number 1. I mean, we are having a full-on best of 5 on our hands, and this could for sure go the distance. This is expected to be a very close one, and game 1 is delivering exactly that. Exodia was ahead for a long time. Now they're falling behind a bit. Not by much, but structurally they've taken the backseat for sure. Yeah, on the numbers also, we're just taking a bit of a look here. We have huge amounts of siege damage, not only for Carrigan and Gul'dan, but look at Samuro. Nearly 200,000. Abathar on the other side with that level 7 talent, very interested in lane pushing of course as well. And doing his best there. And Samuro just having copies all over the place. But they're playing a very, very slow and methodical game where they are trying to play it around the objective and just pushing the lanes a little bit to slowly get there. And, well, that's exactly what it is. Dino currently up at the top. Rest of the team is also assisting him. And then it's just camp after camp after camp that gets taken. You can actually look at the experience too. If you just take a look at the experience gains, they are fairly even when it comes to mercenary XP. There's a slight advantage for the blue team, which you would of course expect considering how heavily they invested in those camps. But the red team was doing okay here. Copy from Abathur already used, so they wanted the top fort, and they got it. But that means that we have a quick attack at the bottom of the map, just to force the retreat of their opponents, force them to Hearth, and of course to open that wall up. But the main idea is to just force them back. The objective should be announced in just a moment. And then we're going to see the next fight for that. And this time it is again a Frozen Punisher. So with this being a Frozen Punisher in waiting, this could also get interesting quickly. I mean, Frozen Punisher just in general is going to be pretty strong and will take out... At the bottom of the map, it will take out that keep. Unless they all die in the process. But I mean, there's no wall anymore there. So, let's see who's taking it. Who's able to win the first one. That Horrify and the Entomb on the red team side, those are the two that are really going to be massive. I mean, a good Entomb can win that fight, a good Horrify for sure can. Karrigan with huge value is jumping in, using a Ravage to get a few additional stacks towards the objective. Both of the teams just fighting for every single point on this. Abathur, he has the copy up in another 3 seconds. Can't provide it just now, but will have it back soon TM. The red team is taking a very, very strong lead on the Punisher, though. So, great for them. Great for Exodia, and they're about to win this one with ease. I mean, blue team isn't even contesting, really. So, that's a freebie right now. Nice. For Exodia, that is great. There's a little bit of an attempt at a commitment for the Gremlins, but let's be honest, they let this one slide, essentially. They just never felt it. No Horrify, very few ults used. It was basically only Karrigan. Samuro is now pushing the middle a bit. I guess good for him, but they are losing the fort at the bottom of the map. They haven't even tried to defend this. And why would they? Instead, what we're seeing is them just moving towards the left and protecting the keep. So the first structure has now been taken out by Exodia. They finally got one destroyed. But how far can they go with this? And Abathur, he is trying to push back against Samuro, of course, a little bit too. Sadath is now arriving at the bottom of the map, just as they are going straight in for the main structure on the lane. But gets met by Jaina, has to move out. Gavlo, careful. Here's the Horrify, and Muradin is instantly dead. Great job by Nano. Here's the Mosh Pit, and that is Uther dead as well. He has redemption. Might just come back to get killed again, though. Oh, Gavlo was trying to hit the timing for the respawn and was a bit too early, so the Ghost just walks off. Not a problem. They are saving the keep, though. So the keep is taken, but they would have definitely hoped to get themselves another kill here, which, yeah, didn't really work. Even too late to take the camp. So, yeah, can't take that either. And now what are they going to do? Muradin is gone for another 20 seconds. Seems like they're trying to go through the mid lane, use the minions that they still have there, and take down that keep, which, to be fair, has already taken a decent amount of damage. And, yeah, they're going to get this one from the looks of it. Muradin is not back for another 8 seconds, and particularly with Gul'dan being able to fire away from a distance, this should be pretty alright. The next minion wave is coming in too. Dino tries to burn it down, but is a bit too slow on it. So, yep, that keep is gone. As long as they can save Karrigan here, they're going to be fine. But she gets targeted quickly. Jaina coming in. Gavlo and turning it. Gavlo turning it on Leoric. Leoric is gone. And guess what? Muradin is also in trouble. Muradin just came back and is instantly being focused and has to retreat. Jaina, the Jaina copy also falls, and at the top another keep goes down, taken out by the catapults. Big. Absolutely big. So 12 kills, 2-8, and they are looking at a massive, massive advantage now. They were already ahead in structures throughout the game, but now the Gremlins with 2 lanes where they can essentially endlessly push, and it's going to be a total nightmare for the blue team, for the red team. So yeah, well done. On the damage side, we get 69,000 for Karrigan, nice. 84,000 for Gul'dan, 68k for Jaina. She's still fighting that battle with Karrigan here. Samuro has fallen off slightly. And then Abathur with around 50,000 for himself. So, hail the snail, baby. Now, for the red team, I mean, we need to see another good Entomb from Rayquaza, I guess. Had a couple of nice ones. But now that we're 28, 29 minutes into the game, those catapults are gonna hit hard, and it's 2 lanes that you have to deal with currently. Plus Samuro, obviously, highly interested to push at the bottom of the map to expose that keep further, and the red team will have to react to it. And sooner rather than later, because the next objective has just been announced, and if Samuro is just staying for a short period at the bot lane and pushes these waves in, then the keep will eat damage, and you might lose the last one. So if there's any chance, you would like to avoid that. So they can play a macro approach. For Exodia, they need a good team fight. So good team fight is something that could help them. But to gain just momentum. I actually think that if they win a decent team fight, they could probably go to the bot lane and instantly try to finish, considering that this keep is very low. Yeah, Muradin getting attacked again. Dodging out on the combos is really important here. Muradin getting hit would be... If they lose Muradin, then it would just be a clean-up job. So, Abathur with the copy once more. Losing it very, very quickly. Not a lot of value. Jaina, and there might be the value. They're trying to get the burst. In comes the Entomb. Leoric is dead, and Kerrigan just walked away from it. With Jaina getting a Divine Shield, and they're turning it on ETC and get that kill. Kerrigan, aggressive jumps from Gavlo, had the nano boost too. Yasu goes down, still has his redemption up, but Dino is running out of mana, running out of space, and gets ragdolled across the map. That's the second one to fall over on the side of Exodia. The Gremlins now with mad momentum. Big damage from Kerrigan, of course. Gul'dan is about to hit the 6-digit club here, as he is knocking at the 100,000 damage. And this is massive. 33 stacks to 13. Bloodcool is trying what he can to hold on to the game a little bit longer. Samuro comes in, trying to take him down. Gets close. Uther dead, this time for good. He keeps Muradin alive. And over on the left side, it's all the play for Banana as Rayquaza is trying to get value. With the help of Abathur, they're actually doing a great job against Gul'dan and Ana, but it's not enough to net them kills. And that means that we now have the objective claimed. Catapults were already on the core, slowly starting to take the shield out. And the Gavlos are rocking it. Nice kill, though, by Muradin. So they took Ana out at least. And Jaina is back in 8 seconds, but you now have the Punisher marching through the mid lane. The shield is already nearly gone, and it is very doubtful that we're seeing a comeback from Exodia in this position now. Yeah, this is not looking good whatsoever. This is game 1. Jaina is dead again, and it is the Gremlins who take the lead in this best of 5 series. Very, very well done. GG. Well played. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Towers of Doom, map number 2. So, we got the lead for the Gremlins, everyone. And now we have the 10 heroes that were played on the last map unavailable, which means 28 heroes are out before we're even heading into the draft. But, well, the Exodia team decided that they want to play this one out on Towers of Doom. And let's see what the Gremlins are going to go for. They take their sweet times even on ban number 1, so apparently the strategy has to be discussed still. But I would expect that we're going to see some plays around the Pinnacle Quest heroes again, like Thrall and Falstad. They usually get addressed very quickly in the series, either as bans or as picks, and I would assume that we're going to see similar things here now too. Tracer is the first one that gets eliminated on the other hand. So Tracer already out. Thrall gets banned again. And this is a bit of a theme here. Exodia really wants to have Thrall for themselves. But with the opponent running first pick and first ban, they are not willing to chance it. They are just sitting there saying, okay, if you have an opportunity to go for Thrall, you're just denying it. If at any point then it flips and they are the ones that get first pick, then it's a different story and they will very likely hope to get Thrall, and the Gremlins have to decide whether or not to ban that one out. Zeratul gets banned as well. That's already interesting. Are we going to see some kind of Vikings ban? Zeratul is usually somebody, currently with everything that's banned out, if you see him banned out this early, either you have Ubi playing on the other side, or it's something where you're thinking about maybe picking Vikings, something else. We've seen a Zeratul ban when people are trying to go for a backdoor strategy so that you can't VP a structure, and that's the Vikings ban right there. For this very reason, you see Zeratul ban, you're like, why is this happening? And you just decide that you're better off banning the Vikings out, letting Falstad through. And who knows, maybe it was just a ruse. Maybe they never really intended to play the Vikings in the first place and were just attempting to bait the ban out so that they get Falstad. And that's exactly what now happens. So he can go for the Pinnacle quest and is going to try and play that. But it could have been a mind game, for sure. Either way, Exodia wasn't willing to chance it. They just said, okay, it seems like you're trying to play Vikings. We are not willing to take that risk. We'd rather have you take Falstad than the other way around. Cassia and Tyrael, they are our picks here, which means that we could theoretically again see those Judgment engages. These days is actually way more Judgment that gets picked than Sanctification, which of course for the majority of Heroes of the Storm was the go-to talent. Stitches and Tyrande. Alright, so we're getting Stitches, hooks into Tyrande stuns. On top of that, Falstad, after a Gorge, can create space with Gust. Already a very, very annoying lineup to go up against. These hooks, they are, yeah, they're crazy. They can be absolutely crazy. Stitches is a fantastic one to just annoy an opponent. Especially, of course, if you're pushing for bell towers and then afterwards trying to escort pumpkins into the death zone. Stitches can just simply sit there, throw out a hook, and if you get hit by it, the chances of you dying are very, very high, unless you have either the Divine Shield or Medivh or someone on the other team that can help out. But guess what? All of those are gone, so you can't rely on them. Alarak gets banned as well, another hero that has great follow-up for Stitches getting a hook in. And again, all of this obviously in the context of the heroes that are already eliminated, so keep that in mind a little bit. But we have plenty of heroes already out. And yeah, here comes Deckard Cain. I'm still a bit curious if in a game 3 or 4 we're going to see double supports making an appearance to put a potential pressure onto map 5 even further. So the healer chokes are a thing. In the 1-5 mapper that we already had in the playoffs, in the final game, we had no healers left. So yeah, that was an absolute banger. If you missed that one, I highly recommend that you check that out on YouTube. It's actually, you can just scroll down on the YouTube videos, the latest ones, and it's marked in the thumbnail. But that entire series was just spectacular. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. And of course, if you watch this on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Imperius and Oriel. The Hoodie gang is more or less united. We get Malthael and Kel'Thar. So with Nano, a Gravity Lapse now to follow up on Stitches getting a hook, more CC, and with Malthael we have a finisher with Last Rites that they can also use. So definitely very much speccing into those hooks from Stitches. They have nice approaches outside of that too. A lot of CC here, but their hooks and the Gorges are the bread and butter. That's what they're trying to get the most kills with. And a lot of the ults and abilities of the heroes that they chose line up on this. Zul gets taken for the rotation, so we have our triple front line. Ladies and gentlemen, Towers of Doom is our second map in the best of 5. Let's see if Exodia can put a point on the board. The Gremlins are in the lead, and the blue team with Nano on Kel'Thas. We got Simply on Stitches, Sadath on Malthael, Banana H on Tyrande, and Gavlo on Falstad. Also, bit of a shout out to one of the subscribers on the Twitch channel, to Guy Smile, because he just figured out that the red team inadvertently has actually gone into a full-on Diablo composition. I would have missed that. Yep, they're playing this out with Dino and Cassia. Dequaza on Zul, we got Haas on Imperius, Bloodcool on Tyrael, and Yazu on Oriel. So full on Diablo. There's no bounty, there's no extra reward that they get for it, but still, when it comes to the styler points, that is a nice little plus there. I might just revoke one of the yellow cards that I dished out to Hazops in game number 1. So yeah, that's a couple of bonus points. Ooh, quick hook, and then instantly the collapse on Stitches. But yeah, Kel'Thas is spreading the love right now. Kel'Thas should get some really interesting Valentine skin. if I'm completely honest. I mean, just having him spread the love with those living bombs time and time again, while we don't have some kind of love Kalthas thing, that is totally beyond me. I think that would be a pretty funny skin for him, and they could release it around Valentine's. So yeah, that would be pretty neat. We have on level 1 for Stitches, Hungry for More. He's basically like me with Chocolate. Whenever he starts, he just can't stop. So Hungry for More is absolutely adequate here. Falstad already at the top, and it comes with no surprise that he went for Frequent Flyer on level 1 and is now working on that Pinnacle reward, which is definitely achievable. We've seen it now multiple times, and this is one of the reasons why I say that depending on the game you play, there is definitely a chance that on 20 you're going to go for Epic Mount so that you have a bit more there. So yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Just to have more control over the map and being able to, you know, jump in, get that extra damage out once that you complete that quest. So Gavlo is going to try to be diligent about it and really leverage Falstad as much as he should. But for now, it's just easy rotations between the lanes, a little bit of an aggression at the bottom of the map. We have on level 1 Mana Addict again for Nano. Whip into the wall, but simply totally fine here. It's one of the cool things too when you're going into Hungry for More, that your Devour procs of the max HP of Stitches, so the more you stack your level 1, the more value you get out of Devour as well, and that can keep you alive in a lot of situations in the later parts of the game. So definitely a huge asset to have and something to play around with. Level 4 talents now being available. We have Falstad starting to join the top fight a bit to put additional pressure onto Rayquaza, and that nearly led to a kill. So they nearly got the kill here, but not quite. And since this is a 2-man at the top currently, this of course means that the bot lane is suffering a bit, since it's only 3 defenders against 4 attackers. But Falstad has now taken over for Malthael for at least a little bit, because he knows fully well that with Rayquaza being this low, there's nothing that he can do. And he actually has to hearth back, so that allows Gavlo for a little bit more wiggle room here. And he will get himself a few more stacks and work towards the rewards so that he can really capitalize on that level 1. And after 50 stacks, we're already getting decent value, so that makes the rest so much easier. We have a double altar given up by the Gremlins. There will... Oh, another nice hook here from Simply. Well done. But as I was about to say, they're giving up on the first rotation a bit. Gavlo, talking about giving up, he might have to give up his hit points, because that is not looking too good. And it's chicken for dinner. Yep. Big chicken play right there. Local supermarket over here has actually recently some new spicy chicken that they have for the air fryer. And I gotta say, as a bit of a treat and a guilty pleasure, that stuff is awesome. I had that a few times now. Sometimes, you know, when you're too lazy, and that chicken is amazing. That's Falstad meat right there. They hooked in a birdie or two, and it's just spicy fried Falstad, and that just brightens up your day. Imperious agrees as they got the kill, and then after that, you know, with full stomach and well fed, they moved down to the bottom, stole the camp, got 2 more kills against Stitches and Kalthas, and now they're pushing for the bell tower. So that's exactly what you got to do here. So yeah, this is looking very, very nice. We got the easy attack on the bell tower with a full conversion, so they take the entire thing down. And Zul at the top has also pushed us out a bit. That's a full level lead now, so 3 kills. And the resulting advantage with the snowball that we got is pretty big. So yeah, very nice. 7 stacks only for Stitches at this point. And of course, now we have the attempt to retake at the bottom of the map. Falstad, I talked a bit about his stacks, is now about to hit 50, so the first reward has now kicked in, which gives him a bit more attack damage. Whip into the wall. What they are waiting for is first of all level 10, and then later it's the 13, so that you have the hook range extended. So Exodia is doing well early on. They're off to a good start. The question is simply, can they maintain that? And is this going to flip at some point? Because currently the Gremlins are just interested in stabilizing, but he has level 10 abilities with more than a level lead. So that's a huge advantage. And if you have the 2 Diablo brothers over here tag teaming somebody, then there's trouble brewing. First you have Judgment as an engage with Tyrael, and then the guaranteed follow-up if you play it properly with Wrath of the Ingeris from Imperius, and this is essentially guaranteeing you a kill if you do it well, so that's going to be a problem. But yeah, there's 3 kills to 0, and we have level 10, 1.5 level lead. Maybe a bit of a problem here for Gavlo. The 3-2-3 moment as we get the tactical pause. That's, by the way, a meme that I think I have to explain a bit, because one of the most common questions when we have these breaks, like 3-2-3, I don't understand what's happening here. 3-2-3 was basically, I think it was in the good old days where we had, like, I mean, really old school, just at release. There was a tournament and one of the American teams was playing. I can't put my finger on the player's name right now. I had dinner with the guy several times, and I just, for the life of me, I can't come up with a name right now. It will remind me later. But yeah, so basically, like, he was cleaning his keyboard or something, and by accident then sent a message to all chat and went in with 3-2-3, and ever since it became a little bit of a meme for tactical pauses during games. So yeah, but that's a little bit old school. Very similar to the 6.5 out of 10 and a couple of others that then got embraced by the community and also by Blizzard themselves. But yeah. So whatever it was, they fixed it quickly. We have already now down at the bottom of the map a bit more experience gathered up by the blue team. So they're doing pretty alright. And the whip, but Gavlo was faster and was able to move away from this. So now they got Gust. They also have Gorge. I would assume that we're still going to get Phoenix. And yep, there it is. So Phoenix is in as well. And we get last rights. So now the stage is set. Now we have all of the tools available for both of the teams. Exodia still ahead in core points. And they also have the extra control at the bottom of the map, of course. Problem for Nano is that he still doesn't have a whole lot of stack. Stitches is not really looking at too much of a movement speed advantage either. Only the 5% that he immediately picks up upon taking the talent. Needs another 10 stacks in order to extend that by another 5%. But they are retaking that bell tower now. And, well, that allows them to go into the next fight with a 4v4 bell tower situation. They cannot take this altar at the bottom, though, which means another 4 shots fired against the blue team's core. So 23 to 36 points. That's kind of the situation that they got to deal with. There's Judgment and the combo, as explained previously. Imperius follows up, and even with the gust of Falstad who flew in to help out, Stitches gets killed. Stitches is gone, and yeah, that's kill number 4. 84 stacks for Falstad. There's at least that. He's at 9,000 damage. But again, if you're Falstad in a situation like this, you are focusing most of your attention in the early game onto minions, which is why he's now after Malthael, the second highest damage dealer against siege damage. So we have 50,000 for him. 15,000 for Kel'Thas, the damage output. And then on top of that, 19,000 for Cassia. And the bell tower has already been reclaimed by Exodia. So there's a reason why Exodia went for this. Yeah. There's definitely a reason why they went for Towers of Doom and didn't go for first pick. Over on the right side, are they even going for a boss or something? Doesn't look like it. We're now having Kel'Thas at least with Phoenix in play too, trying to retake the bell tower at the bottom of the map. Top side, a little trap against a Quasar with Gust activated too. They really want him here. I'm not quite sure they can. Last rights, and that's not enough. That's not enough. They were getting close, but the Quasar reacted perfectly. Was fast enough. Falstad is now flying out, but Malthael, he tried, and he just stumbled along a bit and then got killed. So you could argue that the blue team is clearly getting, I mean, I don't want to say desperate, but they are starting to take a few risks here in an attempt to get something done. And now we're having 5 kills to 0, still not a single kill for the Gremlins. They have the extension at least for the hook range, and they got to play around this, but here's another Judgment, and that's the end of Kel'Thas. Still hasn't completed his quest. So, yep. There's the play for Tyrael. Yeah, and then he jumps out. Still had his Ruins active. Oh, that's a bit annoying. So you even get the hook and Gorge, and then he still doesn't care. 4 bell towers to 4. They get another nice connect, this time on Imperius.
but they just don't have Gorge available, and he just turns it around with his own ult. So now they're in trouble again. Malthael, the spear, the lunge, and he's gone once more. Toranda also hit, and that is kill number 8. Yeah, they're getting farmed right now. This game is completely falling apart for the Gremlins. Exodia, after the last game, is just looking amazing here. They've always been great on this map, and they just play to perfection right now. It's a 1.5 level advantage with not a single kill towards the Gremlins. Normally, you would really sit here now and say, okay, this game's over. But it is, after all, Towers of Doom, so you have to be a bit careful here. Momentum swings are the norm, I would say, on this map. But nothing has been going well for the Gremlins so far. And for them to really bring this back now, they need a glorious hook and a follow-up kill at a minimum, if not 2, to at least get a foot down. And with them now losing the bell tower and this being a triple altar phase, that's a bit of a question mark. But here comes the hook. Gorge, but Stitches gets instantly countered with Judgment. Then the Valkyrie, they're trying to play this out. Falstad is pushing the top. Last Rites gets negated by the Aegis. And Falstad, he's been trying to take the bell tower at the top lane. Even that didn't work out for them. With a triple bell tower phase being up and it being 5-3, there's even a chance for Exodia to end the game right here, right now. So they're going to try and make their moves. But it's getting a little bit wild. Because currently we have the shots fired through the channel at the bottom of the map. That's 5 down. That's single digits on the blue team. Gust, they're trying again. They try for Yasu, but the bell tower has now been claimed too. Dino's still alive. They don't even have that bell tower support here. They got themselves one single altar channel, and that is it. But it's now 2 bell towers, 2-6. And he is absolutely... I mean, this is nasty. Not a single kill. Not one kill for the Gremlins. This is crazy. So, 2 points on the core. That's all that's left for the blue team. Seems like we're going to get a tie in this series. 48,000 damage for Cassia is what we're getting right now. And, yep, there's Khaldor's gone. That's Toranda eliminated. Once again, Exodia just farming them like there's no tomorrow. And this is obviously the conclusion of the game. They go for Gavlo. They drop him 2. That leaves only Stitches. And the boss is up. There's absolutely nothing to be done here. Instead of going for the boss, they're just moving in to take the bell tower. That will start the barrage. And therefore initiate the end of game number 2. The Gremlins, after a glorious victory on Infernal Shrines, are losing on Towers of Doom.
And we will head into the 3rd game with an even score between the 2 teams. So, yeah, Stitches just sitting tight over here. But it's obviously the end. They are all just suiciding. It's a huge Sudoku move. 5-man team wipe as the game ends and Exodia puts a point on the board. Congratulations. GG. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Map number 3, score is tied. Exodia with a flawless victory, basically, on the last map. They YOLO'd a bit into the death zone towards the end on purpose, but damn, not a single kill outside of that for the Gremlins. So, yeah, Exodia put on a clinic. Now we're going to Dragonshire. 20 heroes are now unavailable because they have been played, and 18, of course, are completely permabanned here. I would expect that Thrall still gets banned by Exodia because it's first pick for the Gremlins, and if the Gremlins get a chance, they will pick him. And as I already explained a bit earlier, Exodia definitely wants him for themselves, so yep, there's the ban. And more importantly, the farther we get into a series, the more important, of course, the heroes that you start initially banning become, because now there's even less heroes available that would be strong in the meta sense, so their value rises compared to the alternatives. Dragonshire being the map, we could still see, I think Urel is still up, we have Rexa, available. Well, okay, you so much for Urel. She's out. But Rexa is still up. Rexa is still up, so we could still see Misha. That would be an option. With Thrall eliminated first. Zagara also, by the way, still here. And Zagara has now been in the playoffs, been played twice with Nidus. So we saw Nidus Network already 2 times in an effort to adjust to plays on the opponent's side. Maiev also gets banned out, especially with in combo with Stukov. She would have been pretty amazing. But, well, let's see what we're getting here. We talked, by the way, the other day on the live stream again about series to watch, and I have to at least every month or two throw this out. If somebody's watching this on YouTube right now, and you guys have not watched The Expanse yet on Amazon Prime, you need to do that. Best science fiction series that we had in the last years. I mean, honestly, it's incredible. It's based off books. I read the books initially and was very hesitant to watch the series because normally when I read the books first, I don't like to watch a movie or a series afterwards because it usually is not a good adaptation and also destroys a little bit the idea that you yourself have of characters in the story. But it was an extremely good adaptation, very well done, really catching the spirit of the entire thing, and absolutely amazing. So to my shock, lots of people have still not heard of this. So if you don't know what The Expanse is, look it up on Amazon Prime or wherever you sail the 7 seas and check that one out. You can thank me later. It's a really, really good series and it's just great. I talked in this game about Zagara and Rexa just a second ago, and well, here we go. We get Zagara and Rexa for the same team, so for the Gremlins. Noteworthy, by the way, also that we now have Benny playing Varian. So Benny is actually back. I mentioned in the first game that he wasn't here and that they played with a sub. So now that we're going into game number 3, we have currently Varian played by him. So Benny is back and will now continue the rest of the series with the team here. Deckard is banned. But with Zagara at the bot lane, Rexa at the top lane is very likely what we're going to see from the Gremlins. So it's the lineup. And with Benny and Varian and Greymane on top of that, this is where things are also going to get interesting with sniping targets. And I mentioned Stukov earlier, and one of the most typical composition with Varian is Varian Stukov or Varian Tyrande. Tyrande has already been played, so they're going for Stukov instead. Ban him out. That would have been the perfect follow-up for Varian's taunt plays. But yeah, they will have to follow up with something else. And there's still plenty around here that you can work with, but the idea is obviously going to be clear. Benny played tons and tons of Varian in the past too, but let's see what they can do now. We get Karazim and we get Chen, so instead of going for a lockdown on the target that he taunts, they're trying to get more damage in. And yeah, big fan right now of what we're seeing here. With Chen, of course, as well. It's always kind of fun when you're getting some Chen plays into the game too. Fat Illidan is wrecking people. And it's a very mobile lineup with Karazim and Chen. Those two can jump on anything that Varian engages on. Whereas on the blue team side, the final 2 picks, as we're heading into game number 3, they're getting Arthas. Ooh, look at that. Rexa, Arthas, and Uberak at the front. Zagara is the only range damage. Rexa himself doesn't count. It's all about Misha anyways. And we get Wildmane. Alright. So, yeah, definitely trying to control both, like, essentially all of them. Greymane, Varian, and Karazim with Arthas here. Chen to an extent too, of course. So, Arthas going to be interesting in that context. Well, and there we go. Deathwing. Final pick. So, game 3, it's an interesting lineup. That's actually pretty cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dragonshire. Let's go. Plus for Expanse, minus for Alien Earth. I haven't even watched Alien Earth. Alien Earth and Predator Badlands, I mean, I've seen a couple of the reviews and it's just all such garbage. It's the same just trash that you get the last couple of years in most series. 80% of the series that are getting thrown out are basically done by the same formula and it's always the same bullshit. So I don't waste my time with shit like this. One series that I watch right now that seems to be a little bit better and I'm always only halfway through is Task. Task is so far good and doesn't follow that concept. Penguin was also very, very nice and with good character development. So is Andor. We talked about this a bit yesterday. Game 3, Benny is back, but on the left side, it is the blue team first, where we have Simply on a Nubarak. We're getting Gavlo on Arthur's with Frost Presence on level 1. So this is going to be a real interesting game from him. Sadath with Rexa. We got Banana H on Whitemane. And Nano on Zagara. Is over on the right side. We got Dainu playing Greymane. We got Babeni on Varian. Hazorps is the one that plays Chen for the team. Yazu, obviously on the support, he's playing Karazim. And then on top of that, we get Dequaza on Deathwing. Get the big bad dragon into the game. And he went for the turkey skin. No! Thanksgiving is over, dude. Like, this is the only day, the only time of the year where I would allow the turkey skin. But this is just so disrespectful. Deathwing is a majestic dragon. Destroyer of worlds that comes in and just brutalizes everybody, and now we're seeing this here. I mean, what is that? Go for a jade skin, go for the black tint. I mean, a little bit of respect. No respect for Benny, by the way, so this is not really how you want to start things into a series. Bloodcool just left and Benny instantly feeds. So he pulls a Lauba and gets run down by Arthur's, which immediately leads to the Gremlins moving onto the camp and trying to steal that. The team in red is willing to fight for it, though. And they take it! So good for them! Not being intimidated here. And doing... okay, it's a kill trade. I was about to say, they even got a kill with this, but it's at least a back and forth between them. But nice that they just showed backbone immediately and just went for it. Now, it also gave an opportunity at the top lane for Rexa to push this a little bit together with Misha, getting the Inspire buff triggered on the minion wave so that they could extra damage on that wall, which they, of course, did. And now, down at the bottom of the map, we're now having Nubarak just taking over. It's slowly starting to stabilize a little bit. Obviously, a slightly chaotic start into the game. Still a pretty enjoyable one, I have to admit. Top side now, we got Sadath sitting right there. And we'll see if what they can do here. Oh, Misha already encountering some resistance, starting to claw her way into the fight. And I mean, bear with me here for just a moment, but if the red team engages right now, it could lead to an absolutely unbearable situation. If Misha, for example, falls, that would be a little bit tricky. Rexa! Well, Misha goes hold my bear as Rexa gets targeted instead. So instead of Misha falling, it's Rexa himself. Dequaza still alive as he moves out. And now Gavlo is trying to maybe connect another Howling Blast. Was still on cooldown. And at least they got the camp. But it's now 2 kills to 2 that we're getting over here. With Gavlo moving through the top and starting to hold the... assist the camp a little bit. Try and get that camp pushed through. And of course, on top of that, you also want to at least maintain some control. But it seems like we're going to get Benny on the Dragonite. And that is what's happening. At the bottom of the map, they couldn't deal with Chen. At the top lane, they weren't able to push out quickly enough. So Varian gets the DK for the team. And is looking to take down part of the wall in the middle. Zagara is instantly there. Went into the typical build. We've seen a couple of infest builds now. Not so much here, though. But the red team is brutalizing that bot lane wall. So we have the 2-pronged attack with the Dragonite doing some work. Then at the same time, we're having the attack at the bot lane starting out. And it's working well for Exodia. They're getting structural damage in, so good for them. Trying to push also Greymane back a bit further. As at the top, the Dragonite is now finally done with. It's got another big dragon, though. And Dequaza, is starting to help out over here. As Karazim is just roaming from lane to lane and gets locked down pretty hard. So he needs a dash target and thankfully receives one. Because if not, that could have been the end of him. But as we talked about during the draft, they have a lot of mobility that they're currently utilizing here. So yeah, it's not going to be a big problem for them. By any means. But, well, as we're starting to focus on that a little bit, we now have on top of that too, of course, those level 7 talents that are just a little bit faster for Exodia. Arthur's now on level 7, following up with more Death Coil builds. Immortal Coil is ready for him. Crippling Talons for Rexa. And on the right side, the next Siege Giant camp is claimed. Blue team doing the same. Or at least trying to.
Come for another 2 minutes and 30. Chen is dealing with the bottom of the map at this point. There's still some decent creep spread, at least behind the gate, to assist Zagara. Sadath is low. Still alive, though. But it's a half-level gap already between the teams, and it's something that they're trying to extend here. So, time and time again, we have the aggression on particularly camps. We've seen few invades already. Initially it was the blue team actually that started the first one and was hoping to steal some away. Ever since, it's more so Exodia that is trying to be the aggressor. Taking the camp at the bottom of the map. Seems like Simply is a bit too late for that. Well, he's in time, the rest of the team wasn't, so even if he engages, it's very likely only going to lead to the end of him. So they're just accepting that now, which means double camp at the bottom of the map that could be protected by Exodia to get more value. And they're already about to take the tower down. Next objective is up 2, and I mean, they are pretty busy spreading out on lanes and getting damage in. You see Greymane, for example, going crazy on their mid lane. So while the bottom of the map was defended, they're missing out on the defense in the middle, and this leads to a huge amount of structural damage from Greymane and Kharazim alone. One tower down, the gate destroyed. So they are really working this, and they're getting another Dragon Knight too. Deathwing was holding the top against Misha. Now they have level 10. Objective number 2. And Exodia is really looking stronger and stronger with every single game that they're playing here. And at the beginning, this was obviously all happening in the context of them losing game number 1 absolutely brutally. But now, after the second map, where they just dominated on Towers of Doom, they're doing a great job also on Dragonshire initially. So this is starting to get really dangerous for the Gremlins. They have a very melee-focused draft right now, trying to protect Zagara so that she can get the damage out. Which she definitely does, but is this going to be enough to really have the big impact? We now have more in, both teams on level 10, so that finally allows the Gremlins to fight back again. Kuhn is also in. Topside fort is about to be destroyed. Terror! The Quasar coming in and just going for the big barbecue play. Fort is gone. They want the kill. Chen! And it's just a Keck. Kecks it around, and Kharazim is punching walls. And gets that fort down to 50%. Nice! What a beautiful escape here. So he dashed away from Cocoon. Then Cocoon comes in and uses 7-sided strike. It's a big cooldown to burn, granted. But he uses Cocoon to dash out of... he uses the 7-sided strike to dash out of the Cocoon. Check this out in the middle now. That escape. He could have died there. But bam. 7-sided strike. Sees it coming. Uses it right away. And that was pretty sweet. So Yasu with a very, very solid play there. Because if he gets caught, they're going to try and collapse onto him and get the kill. So he just played that safe. It's not that big of a cooldown either. So job well done by Yasu. They're going for Hazu at the bottom of the map now. But once again, the Panda, not impressed, just walks away from it. Yasu still getting hit after hit in over here. And again, Dino, a bit in the corner, gets the damage in against Gavlo. Connect after connect. 4 kills in total currently. Deathwing with 18,000 damage. Zagara with 26k. Arthur's even popping his army here. So didn't even spec into Sindragosa or anything of the sorts. Gavlo just went full on into sustain and is using the armor for himself. So, yeah. 1 fort down. Second fort extremely low. They're losing more and more ground. Now it's a level 13 talent that Exodia is holding over their head. So they have a 1 level gap and they can use that talent advantage. The Quasar is just relentlessly pushing through the top lane, and they now even have to send some assists in, and he just doesn't care. He buys time for the rest of the team. He's not going to die here, and they are now at the bottom of the map trying to push for the next fort. So while the Gremlins are dealing with Deathwing, everyone else move down, assist the Siege Giants. They're breaking the rest of the wall and get damage in on the fort itself. So they are looking strong here. Level 13 soon as well for the blue team, but they still have a bit of to go. We have another objective up, so this could be another Dragon Knight for Exodia. And this would be the 3rd one, and they get it with ease. They take it in the mid lane. Misha a little bit too late. Rexa was there trying to interrupt, but now forts will fall again. They're losing more and more ground, more and more structures. as we speak, and this is just getting nasty. I mean, Gremlins are moving in, trying to defend. Absolutely pointless against the Dragonite here. Deathwing is now moving in too and just zones them out even further. At the bottom of the map, they're attempting to isolate Gavlo with a Keck, and now that the taunt is in from Varian, they get an easy kill on Arthur, so he's gone. They kicked Anubarak down to the bottom right. I actually expected him to try and Hearth, but he's still able to jump out. Yeah, gets punted around by the Dragonite a bit and might still fall, so simply he is doing his best to escape here. But he's eventually going to get murdered. And there it is. Chen comes in and just drops him. The big fat panda. A little bit too heavy for Anubarak. The cockroach gets brutally squashed. And that is kill number 4. Not a kill-heavy game if you think about it. We're now 10 minutes in, 11 minutes in. 6 kills in total. That's nothing crazy. But still, they're doing very well here. The Maw against Benny. So Varian gets caught. There's the Howling Blast. Can they finally get another kill? And it seems like they can't. So even with everything that they currently did here, this is that. That is, yeah, another escape. Benny is able to get out. And we now have a 1.5 level lead. And not a single fort has been destroyed on the side of Exodia. Top side is the one where they progressed the furthest. But even here, they weren't able to do it. And, yeah, there's a level 16 talent now. So, I gotta say, game number 1 went incredibly well for the Gremlins. Fantastic performance by them. It was a huge back and forth, obviously, so it's not like they dominated from start to finish or anything, but they played a fantastic game there and were able to lock in a victory. But right now, what we're getting is just domination by Exodia. Absolute dominant performance. Arthas is dead again. Yeah, Lich King my ass. It's like he's the king of the funeral parlor at this point. He gets the big discount because the amount of times that he's been dying here, that affords him a little bit of a benefit. I'm exaggerating slightly, he only died twice, but that was just in the last couple of minutes. So yes, Arthur's getting focused a bit. And now they're getting ready for the next attack. And guess what? The next thing that gets ready is Shrine phase number 4. So another Dragonite is potentially going to be there too. So they're jumping in and make the move for the keep at the bottom of the map. Zagara gone means their main damage is lacking. Zagara has top damage in the game with 43,000, but that doesn't do anything for you if you are not able to translate that into kills, which so far they haven't been able to do at all. So now the bot lane is wide open. Spray game is on point too. But good luck with that. 2 levels behind, no level 16 talent yet. And we're gonna see maybe another Dragonite for Exodia. 13 minutes into the game, so they have to decide what exactly they want to do with this. But for now, we get another camp. There's actually quite a few camps that are taken. And guess what? Yasuo gets another DK. So we get level 16 talents on the side of the red team as well. That gives us Feign Death for Rexa. Fakes his death, becoming invulnerable and untargetable. If you are trying to fake your death, you should at least have to attempt to make it realistic. And Rexa is just like falling over. It's like, oh, I'm dead. Who believes that crap? I don't care how much this is anchored in lore. People are always coming in and like, Khaldor, you don't understand. In World of Warcraft, it's the hunters or somebody else that like have that skill. And it's like, yeah, if they are as bad of an actor as this guy, then good night. That's just good night and goodbye. Because he is disastrous. Also, what do you mean you are unkillable, untargetable? If somebody feigns their death and their corpse on the ground, why the hell can't I poke that corpse? Dragonite is about to go down, but they might get a kill because Arthas is again getting targeted, but they can't. That's the taunt. Yes, there it is. The kill. They take down Arthas. That's a huge wave, by the way, at the bottom of the map. But yeah, can you actually explain to me, like, if you are targeting somebody and then he just, like, falls over and lies on the ground and then everybody's all of a sudden like, guys, no, don't target him, don't target him. Don't target him. Don't target him. He fell over. He's invulnerable now. Dumbest shit that I ever heard of. It's like Blizzard logic right there. Ah, it's magic. So yeah. Feign your Death Rex, that's fine. But they need something. Half a level until 20, so they can enjoy a little bit more time with 16 versus 16 talents. But, well, after level 20 connects, I wish you good luck, because that's going to be a big gap between the two teams. So, yeah. There's the keg. Give me the barrel, baby. They go for Simply. There's the taunt. 7-sided strike. And now, instead of Simply Decay, he is simply... no, he's not simply dead. He's simply alive. Okay, good for him. So, that was a bit unexpected. Finally kill! Look at that. They can still do it. They remembered how to play the video game. They're taking down Chen. They're taking down... Come on. They're taking down Benny. And that's a double kill. So, maybe they're starting a bit of a comeback here. Is it too late already? Catapults are firing away. These two guys should be fired, or at least one of them. At least someone connects a few hits. But the core does lose no hit points. Well, actually. Shoot, baby! Yep. 98, 95%. Huge victory here. So the core is losing some hit points. Deathwing over on the right side is trying to help the team out, and they actually take that camp, so any invade approaches from the Gremlins have been shut down, and they weren't able to do that either. They are maybe able to finally get themselves an objective, so that would be nice. That would actually be very, very nice, if they get at least the Dragon Knight. Deathwing is already there. Gavlo is holding on to this a little bit longer. Anubarak goes towards the middle. That's a Dragon Knight. They finally got one. They just have to hold the top a little bit longer, and they can. Karazim is moving in. Oh god, he's going to get the interrupt. Oh, the cocoon! Yeah, Simply is done with this shit. He's done with it. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to get my cocoon. I'm going to get that Dragon Knight. I'm going to be a big boy today. So, Anubarak gets the DK. They get the objective 16 minutes in. One level until they have level 20 talents. Whiteman is gone, though. Yeah. Just when you think that maybe, you know, they have a shot. They are at least able to buy themselves a bit more time, I suppose. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's absolutely that. Now, in the meantime, it's 8 kills to 4. Dragon Knight is trying to at least get 1/4 destroyed, and even that is going to fall short. Anubarak has to dive out and does, but he gets welcomed right away by Dequaza. And I think Anubarak is now going to fall victim to the red team once again. Simply is hoping for any kind of option to get his cooldown back, just running around the shrine, hoping that the cooldowns they can dive out. That hasn't happened either. Was not willing to move back earlier than that, just trying to take out the fort, which to be fair, he actually was able to do. The minion wave did it towards the end then, as you can see here. But now it's time for the red team to try and end the game before their opponents get level 20 talents. 71,000 damage for Greymane. You compare that with Zagara, who's nearly at 100,000, and she's way ahead of him. But they are the ones that are about to lose some more hit points on the core, I guess. Arthas moves out, has the army up, is trying to go for that backline. Huge Howling Blast! Absolutely huge Howling Blast here.
The best that anybody has ever seen. It was the best Howling Blast. It was amazing.
Yeah, Arthur still died though, as good as that one was, but, well, at least Anubarak is going to be back in a moment. That heavy front line did not work so far, but it helped them now to hold onto the game a bit longer, and here's the level 20 talents. So, now we got Rewind in, we're getting kill command for Rexa, and they're still holding onto that game. This is all about who takes the lead in the best of 5, but they're holding on for this as much as they can. We have Scarlet Crusade for Whitemane. So, yeah, that's also pretty neat for the extra heals. And, well, Pack Instinct is definitely going to get Zagara to get some extra damage out, too. So, let's see if this is going to be enough to now turn things around a bit. They are structurally way behind, but there's a chance. And we actually have also adjustments made from Arthas now. So, you went straight into Death's Advance. So, yeah, that helps them to control at least Greymane a lot more. But there's another Dragon Knight, and they just let it happen. They're not even fighting for this. They're just like, yep, take it. We're fine with that. Just take the Dragon Knight. 19 minutes in. We'd rather fight the Dragon Knight than try to force a team fight at this point. So, let's see if that works out. They're going to move down to the bottom of the map. They have a double camp there. They're not going to go for the keep in the middle. At least I don't think so. Are they really? Nah. Deathwing is moving down. Dragonite still in the middle, and they want the keep. They're not confident that they can take the core out. So Zagara is going to drop a couple of Hydras onto the DK. And to be fair, that thing is losing hit points quickly. I mean, damn son. That's a lot of damage output right now that we're getting from the blue team. Particularly Zagara, who's at 108,000 damage currently. But the keep will likely be destroyed one way or another. So that's the second one gone. They want a Nubarak. Can't get him just yet. But the defense is still holding on to this. They're trying. They're really trying. I mean, time and time again, when you think, hey, maybe now they can end it. Now the Quasar might be in trouble here. Yeah, has to try and move away from this. There's a problem for Varian, potentially too, but he has a taunt, so they could try and turn it. Taunt any second now. Greymane, careful. Arthur's also moving in again with his Death's Advance, trying to control them. The more against Karazim. And here comes the attack. They're slowing down Varian. They're slowing down Benny. Benny's about to go down. And finally, there's another kill. 5 kills to 10. And Arthur's just trying to slowly run them into the ground here. The turnaround attempt as Anubra gets jumped. 7-sided strike drops them extremely low. And it's a noob that dies. 11 to 5 kills. Exodia, even after losing Varian, they are able to get a counter kill and hold on to things. Yeah, that was obviously the hope for the Gremlins, that they are getting not only one kill, but then afterwards can also follow with Arthur's and his Death's Advance, can chase them down and get more kills, gain a bit of momentum, maybe take a structure or two down, and go for the next objective. But not so much. Didn't work out here. We got Chen still sitting tight, but at least the blue team has now an opportunity to take a few camps for themselves. So that helps a little bit. As long as he can take it, of course. Because Chen was already looking to move in and trying to barrel them out. Uses the barrel still. They're going for Misha. Kill command! Deathwing! Oh, he's so low. Yeah, Deathwing is mega low, but he made it and is able to get away. Misha also still alive, so yeah, good for her. Now we have a Nubarak back on the map, and obviously it's another objective that we're fighting for. That's 22 minutes on the board. You can't give them all the Dragonites. At some point you gotta fight. 130,000 damage against 112,000. Deathwing is at 94,000. 94,000 for him. But, yeah. They're already going for the top. Down at the bottom of the map, that's where the blue team is making a stand finally on this. So, yeah, you have Deathwing still controlling the top lane. And keep in mind, the top lane is the only one where we still have a keep. It's the only lane where we still have a keep standing. And down here, they are at least trying to break through that wall. There's even a bit of a mid lane pressure play now from Exodia as they're trying to get catapults towards the core. But while the attack is happening at the bottom of the map, this is going to eliminate the wall and potentially also the keep. And they're pushing catapults towards the core right now, which eventually is going to force the blue team to defend a bit. And Chen is getting ready immediately to try and take control of the bottom of the map. So, yeah, that's a problem. All the way at the top, the keep, they're willing to sack. I mean, honestly, this is really problematic for the Gremlins. If they don't get kills and get them quickly, they're going to lose too much. Because this is going to be the end of the keep, and that means they have not a single keep standing anymore. It's just every single lane that gets attacked. They need kills, they need them now, they need momentum. One kill is not going to be enough here. Maw is out, they get Greymane, and again, it's not enough. They are going to take down Varian. They need their Quasar too. Chen is taking control. They could go for the objective, but Anubarak is going to be the one to interrupt it. Deathwing is eliminated. The core is going to get attacked. There's catapults everywhere, and we are 24 minutes in. So they're taking the catapults down. No problem here. But they have to now make sure that there's no Dragonite for Exodia, and that they themselves are the ones that pick up the objective. So they lost every single keep. Now they have to make it count. They got something out of it, but they have to make it count. That Dragonite is not negotiable. You need it. You need that DK now as quickly as you can and then get value. And Chen, he is going to try and take over. He should be too late, and he's probably not. Arthas is moving in. There's the Kek, but the Dragonite is already claimed. So uses the ult, And now it's time for the DK to get them value. They need to... I mean, in an ideal world, you're going for game now, but everybody will be back by the time. If you can't take a keep, on the other hand, then this is over. If you get the keep and you realize you can't end the game, then fall back and make sure that you're getting another fort at a minimum to relieve some of the pressure. But they have to really push this now. They're way too far behind. You lost every single keep, so you gotta do damage. And that Dragonite, by the way, that thing hits hard. So they are going for the combat mechanics here. Zagara is going to try and get close enough too. They get the core low. Guys, they might actually win this one. The Gremlins, it's a huge comeback and they actually pull it off. They take it. The Gremlins out of nowhere win game 3 and beat Exodia on Dragonshire. Well, I guess the Gremlins took it after all. A 2-1 lead as we're heading into game number 4. I would assume that Exodia is not too happy with what just happened. They were essentially in the driver's seat for pretty much the entire game. It was a long defensive battle for the Gremlins. To be fair, they defended against one Dragonite after another, and Exodia prioritized taking all of those keeps out instead of pushing for the core. They got some core damage, but they were never able to go for that final blow. And, well, the Gremlins, they get those late-game kills, are able to get a Dragonite, and are able to march through the middle. Their lineup just really strong at defending against the objective, and Exodia didn't have that. They have Greymane, obviously, who's great at taking it down, but Greymane has to engage into melee range, which puts him into direct danger of getting attacked by Arthas and controlled by him. Whereas on the other side, Zagara with the Hydras could take these Dragonites down pretty quickly. She ended up with 150,000 damage overall. So Zagara just absolutely the top damage with ease in the game. And yeah, good for the Gremlins. I mean, they were holding on, never giving up. And there were a lot of opportunities where you could have argued, alright guys, just let it end and let's go and focus on the next map. They didn't, and it worked out for them. That's a Thrall first pick right there. Damn, they ban out Zul'jin. It's the first time that we now have Exodia with a first pick, and they didn't ban Thrall. And obviously, he gets taken. I talked about this dynamic throughout the last couple of drafts, and it leads to a CHO'GALL pick. The Gremlins with CHO'GALL. Insta-pick too. I mean, obviously this was calculated, right? So they looked at what was going on there. They saw essentially what would happen if they don't ban Thrall out. Obviously, they know. They've seen the same thing that we've seen the entire time. The consistent ban when the blue team had first pick. So they just basically said, we are totally fine with Thrall on the side of Exodia. If they want to pick Thrall, let's go for it. And they wanted CHO'GALL, and they're getting CHO'GALL. So they immediately lock it in. It was what they had planned. One of the reasons why they also banned out Zul'jin. And now, of course, Exodia has to react to it. And the way that they do it is they pick Tychus quickly. Now, the strategy for the Gremlins is not going to stop at simply picking CHO'GALL. They have a game plan coming into this, and we're going to see that play out in a moment, I suppose. They must be really, really happy with what happened on the last map, because it did not look good. Late game Dragonites are powerful, but as mentioned before, Exodia had several of those and was never able to get something done. They had a 2-level advantage at some point, around level 20 just before, and they couldn't really use it to get further ahead. So the defensive posture from the Gremlins pays off eventually, and at some point, you make a mistake, Exodia loses a few of their heroes, and well, that's that. So Alexstrasza, she gets banned. Doesn't come as a horrific shock, but let's see what the Gremlins have up their sleeves. CHO'GALL is a great start, obviously, but what else are they picking? Artanis and Lily. Oh god, oh god, oh god. That's a lot of blinds, to be fair. That's blinds against Tychus, but damn. Yeah, I'm the OG Artanis hater, and for very good reason. Typically, Artanis is an absolute horrible choice, but let's not forget that there are currently 48 heroes unavailable. 30 have been played and cannot be picked again, and then you have 18 that are permabanned for the entire thing. In that context, Artanis becomes an alternative, and actually a pretty good one at that. They have with Lily the option to blind Tychus too. Sonya and Malgan is now taken on the other side. That leaves us with Nano as the final pick and choice for Tomb of Spider Queen. And this could be game. I mean, this could decide the match. Exodia could drop into the losers bracket now if they lose here on Tomb. But it's going to be A very interesting game to say the least. Can CHO'GALL succeed here? Nazeebo as the final pick. So wow, a late game would be brutal for the red team. Not only against CHO'GALL, but also against Nazeebo. To be fair, Thrall with the Maelstrom weapon on level 1, if he gets to a fuller completion of his quest talent, that would also make a huge difference. So, without further ado, map number 4. So, it's getting spicy in game number 4. Simply on Gull for the Gremlins. We got Banana H on Lily. Gavlo is playing Cho. We got Nano on Nazeebo. The Witch Doctor's in the house. And Sadath with Artanis. Full on auto attack style currently for Tychus, played by Hazorps, going into press the advantage. We have Dino on Thrall. Again, this is going to be the big one. Maelstrom weapon right now. We have the second reward still kicking in at 40 stacks. Blizzard is increasing that to 55 soon. And then the pinnacle reward, if it ever gets to that, then you know you're basically screwed because he is unkillable. Yasuo and Degat Kane, Bad Benny on Mal'Ganis, and Dequaza is playing Sonya. On level 1, we now get Amateur Opponent, which is a very interesting choice. Amateur Opponent is really an interesting pick now. Didn't expect that, but they are clearly worried about taking the objective of the other team out. They want to reach the late game with Nazeebo and with CHO'GALL. So they are trying to have tools that allow them to get not only the mercenary camps and maybe the boss a little bit faster, but they're also, of course, hoping to take the opponent's spiders down quickly, the web weavers, which they are going to try and do with Artanis here. So that makes that play at least easier for him. We'll see how that all play works out for them. But right now, we get some stacks, of course, for Thrall. As mentioned before, Maelstrom weapon is just the talent these days, and for good reason. Dino, yeah, doing his thing as topside. We now have Nano just holding the lane, trying to get himself a couple of stacks. Goes into a Toad build. Nice little play against Tychus, but he paid attention. Down at the bottom of the map, as both of the teams have now taken their Bruiser camp in the mid lane, you have CHO'GALL still rushing around. The thing with CHO'GALL that we always highlight on this map is that while he has, of course, a lot of advantages being played on Tomb of the Spider Queen, it also comes with the problem that he traditionally accumulates a lot of gems on himself, and the opponent can deny a turn-in oftentimes by simply focusing on CHO'GALL. So that gives them, with only 4 bodies on the other team, an easier time trying to make sure that the key heroes are not turning their gems in. So, yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But topside, that's where we now get a few more stacks for Nano. This could be a really, really good game for him. They could definitely delay things a lot. But level 4 is also going to tell us a few things. With now Tychus being played here, you could definitely head into in the rhythm and just stacking it up. And that's exactly what he does. Having initially gone into press the advantage makes a whole lot of sense. There's always the idea that when you are having somebody like CHO'GALL or someone else on the other side that you have to go for the bigger they are. That's not really true. You need to really get the entire damage out there, and as in this case, basically your entire damage is hinging on Thrall and on Tychus. Just getting that long minigun duration is helping you a lot, and once you can sustain that in big and long team fights, somebody like CHO'GALL is going to suffer tons, and the same is true for Artanis himself, of course, who's now going up against Sonya at the bottom of the map. So Thrall very likely will stack this throughout the game here and be able to get to some pretty solid numbers. Tychus, of course, I mean. Thrall also stacking, but he's on the Maelstrom weapon now on 19. Gets the first reward, which is helping out. Gavli DK, the CHO'GALL name. He's able to get away here. It's gonna be a wild one. And if I'm Exodia, I'm a little bit mad after the last game. They go for Thrall, and Dino is still fine. Dino's fine, and they might have been baited a little bit too deep. But Thrall is also running out of mana, so that's another problem that he has. Nazeebo has been rotating between the lanes. We're now 3.5 minutes in, and he has 42 stacks. Not a legendary amount, but that's still solid. 43 stacks. 4 minutes in, he's going to have a few more. He's going to be absolutely fine heading into the later stages here. And has also, by the way, decided to go into the back voodoo. So it can get real tanky as the game continues. And mana shouldn't be a problem as we're heading into the late game. Not a single kill yet. Obviously, from the Gremlins' perspective, they would love nothing more than to end the game right here, or the match, and move on to the next round. We have now 16 stacks for Tychus. Quasar might be the first victim here, and he makes it out. Nice. Lily, by the way, with Serpent sidekick and then Wind Serpent taken afterwards. So, very different build from the previous Lilies that we've seen in the playoffs. Turn in mainly from the red team, though. There's a reason why Artanis decided that he's going into amateur opponent number 1. They are already expecting that there's going to be quite a few turn-ins from Exodia. They themselves should at least attempt to safeguard the gems that they have. But Tychus is now at 30 stacks. The red team is getting their web weavers, and this is where they're going to try and get some, gain some ground. In an ideal world, this is the moment where you're starting to pull ahead. You can just go through the objective and never let the opponent head into that late game. Because CHO'GALL is powerful late game as usual. And then we have on top of that also Nazeebo, who gets caught. Nano, is he going to be able to get away? And the answer is yes. I got close for a moment, but Nano is able to escape, and that was important here. They need him to defend against the web weavers, and they also need him to continue her stacking progress, of course. So, yeah, he's doing okay. We have Artanis at the bottom of the map now, just trying to use the amateur opponent as best as he can. Quasar, of course, attempting him to stop. And once again, a little 3-2-3 moment over here. So, little Gavli is starting to have some strategy sessions, apparently. We got in the middle 21 gems now for good old CHO'GALL. Nano at the top, left alone. There's actually nobody that is contesting him. So he will get those web weavers very quickly. It's not going to be a problem at all. As down at the bottom of the map, the wall has fallen and the fort itself is now taking damage. Sadath still trying to take this out quickly, but it's going to get a bit tricky. He uses amateur opponent as best as he can. In the middle, we have Nazeebo now helping out after dealing with the top lane, but that fort is also low, so that's a lot of value actually from Exodia. Lots of value from them. They did well here. They weren't... no, actually scratch that. They took the fort at the bot lane now too. Oof. That makes this even worse. Holy hell. Even if that fort just takes damage, I'm totally okay with the outcome of the objective for them. But now that they were able to eliminate one and then drop the one in the mid lane low, that's massive. That's huge, actually. Good for them. Great start for Exodia. Cho with 12,000 damage. Gal roughly on the same number. For Nazeebo, it's mostly the siege damage, of course, as he's trying to get himself some stacks. But then you look at Thrall, and he's at 16,000 damage. They're hoping for a kill on Tychus and can't get him. Yeah, they're trapping Dino for a moment, so that's some extra damage, but it doesn't lead to anything. Even Drill now being used by Tychus, not even interested in Odin. It's really all about the auto attack damage. Just get those auto attacks in, make sure that you are just an absolute powerhouse with those auto attacks against someone like CHO'GALL later. Tychus is going to be able to get lots and lots in once that he has more stacks on level 4. Within the rhythm, we are looking at 33 stacks right now. But, yeah, there comes the drill. Here comes the ult from Deckard Cain, and they're diving deep behind the opponent's fort and take down Lily. The Panda is dead, and now we have momentum, and a lot of it for Exodia, with the quest completed for Thrall too. Now, there's obviously also the fact that we had a level 10 ability for Exodia that plays a huge role here. So without heroic abilities, there was little that they could do in that situation. But for the blue team, it's very similar to what we saw on Dragonshire. They are again getting dominated early on, and their main goal is to survive. Survive, 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 make it to the late game, and then see what you can pull off. That's going to be a bit tricky, though. Because now we are 8 minutes in, and we have the second turn in for Exodia, and, well, the blue team hasn't turned in a single gem. Not one. So, that... ooh, Mal'Ganis, Benny... Benny? Yeah, he's gonna be fine. Well, maybe not. Gets interrupted as he's trying to go for the conversion, and Mal'Ganis gets murdered. He tried to pop his ult, it got interrupted, and then they get the kill. But Lily gets also murdered, and now they go for Nazeebo and take him down too. Nazeebo and Lily both taken. Sadath recovers the gems at least, but they have to deal with the web weaver still, and there's only 2 of them on the map. We get the double trouble in the middle attempting to defend here. They have 76 gems now, but they're losing so much ground. It is nasty. It really is. That fort at the top lane will fall. Down here, they're drilling it up as they're making a move and take down the bottom keep. I don't think they can save this. It's not happening. They want at least some kills. And Thrall is low and still makes it out of the fight. Still makes it out of the fight. Nazeebo can now stack a little bit quicker because they have so many minions in their base that he doesn't have to go far. Keep is still gone. Topside fort is eliminated. And let's not forget, we're only 9 minutes into the game. 9 minutes into the game. And they lost all the forts. And they lost one keep. So this is a total disaster for the Gremlins.
And recovering here is going to be more difficult. They have 95 gems. So they of course lost a decent amount of gems too. They lost more than 30. If they can turn in, get some web weavers, maybe at least take a fort down or two, but honestly, even if they get the turn in, it's a stretch. But that would help a lot. Nazeebo gets caught at the bottom of the map once more, and boom. Fell into the wall and just disappeared. There's a secret door somewhere. If my years of gaming have shown me anything, is that if somebody all of a sudden falls into a wall and disappears, and there's a secret room somewhere. 100%. There's some power-ups in there, a couple of extra weapons, a little bit of health. Somebody should check this. Check that right now. That might be the way to get back into the game. But if Exodia has learned one thing from Dragonshire, it's that they have to make hay when the sun shines. So they're going for the boss. They're trying to extend this further. That allows Sadath to get the turn. No, it doesn't get the turn in. Dino gets swapped though. Can they use that? Can they get a kill? Dino, and yes they can! Dino is gone. So they get a kill. Boss has been taken. It's at the top lane now. If they can get a bit more, that would be great. Once again, Molten Block, and Deckard Cain is gone. Finally, some kills for the team and a little bit of damage. They're trying to turn in again, but that's exactly what they need here. And, yeah, not happening. That interrupted 10 by Dequaza was cute, but it didn't really do anything. So now we have the top side that needs to be defended. They got some web weavers for themselves, which will allow them to push at least the lanes out and buy themselves some time. It might be too little too late, but, well, at least there's something happening in their favor. So 33,000 damage for Thrall, and we got 30,000 for Gull. They still have enough gems for another turn in, of course, but the opponent already has a level 16 talent, and they are more than a level behind. CHO'GALL has to be careful. Lily gets speared, and Banana with the ult, and gets killed again. Yeah, Lily is not having a good game. Water is wet, grass is green, and Lily is not having a good game. It's unfortunate. I mean, nobody should be shocked by that. So, yeah. That's the problem with the healers here. And for now, we have still the 5 kills to 3. And they're pinned down in their base, and it just continues. So, the red team, it might have been a little bit of a hiccup, but they're still the team doing way better. We now also have the sizzling attacks for Tychus. And Nazeebo, 132 stacks. Nazeebo is looking great here. He will get to a point where Vital Infection is definitely the best option and where he will claim it. That threshold will be reached. The problem is, I do not know if they make it to level 20 in the first place. And after we have now seen 2 turn-ins for Exodia and the boss taken, there's turn-in number 3 as a possibility up in the air for them. They have enough gems. They could take this now. Toad build also continued. Again, if they make it to the late game with Vital Infection, the Toads are going to take structures down within seconds. This is a big advantage of Toad build. If you get a Toad build with Vital Infection fully stacked and everything lined up here, Guardian Toads in now as well, and you make it to any structure and just unleash your abilities, you will see forts, keeps, and even cores just disappear. But that's something that Exodia is also well aware of, and they're going to try everything they can to shut that down and not allow that to happen. And I think there is a very good chance that they will be able to pull that off, because the Gremlins are trailing. They at least get a level 16 talent now that allows them for Blessings of Yulon here
with the build just being continued. Nazeba with Soul Harvest. The one thing that he didn't go for is his Ice Block, of course, so that should probably be mentioned. But in comes Benny, trying to tee this up on CHO'GALL, but yeah. Alright, that will be the defense now. This one is gonna hurt a little bit. If you lose another keep, yeah, this reminds me so much of game number 2. Sorry, game number 3. It's just so much worse. But yes, this is reminiscent of Dragonshire. Exodia just pushing, attacking, doing what they can while the Gremlins are just trying to get into the late game and hope that this is going to be enough to turn the tides. And it might be, but there's another keep now lost and they are losing everything. And this time it's so much faster. If they can get some kills, maybe there's a bit that they can do. But here comes the ult from Yasuo, interrupting amongst other things Lili again. There's so many interrupts available against Lili. We have Sundering, we have Deckard's ult. Then we have just, I mean, grenades, tigers. There's so much. The spear. Oh, and that's at least Malgan is gone. But CHO'GALL dies too, and I think this might actually be where it ends. CHO'GALL is gone. Artanis is gone. And, well, the Quasar, he's the one that makes it still out of the fight because there's another potion from Deckard Cain. And that's game. So this time, no comeback for the Gremlins. They lose on map number 4. We're going the distance. We are going the distance. From the start, we knew this would be an awesome series, and it's definitely delivering. We're going to game number 5 between Exodia and the Gremlins as the red team wins on Tomb of the Spider Queen. GG. Battlefield of Eternity, the final map. So it's gonna get crazy here. Now we have 40 heroes that are not playable because they have been played before. 18 that are permabanned, and another 6 will be eliminated through the draft. I think when it comes to damage dealers, we're not running into problems though. We still have Li Ming, Lunara, and even Jimmy up. So really good tools if you're trying to take down the Immortal. It's a very different story when we're talking about healers and even some side laners. So we could see that Gazlo pick again that the Quasar already showcased in the first round of the playoffs. Obviously, some of the heroes that made it through and got banned previously are now still going to get axed because they're getting, as I explained earlier, more and more powerful the deeper into the series we go. Urel is one of those, and there was no chance whatsoever that Maiev makes it through the draft. But yeah, what else are the teams gonna get rid of? And is somebody maybe putting in a bit of a trap with healers? You could technically ban some out, try to go for a double pick on your own. Very likely we will have healers taken very early in the draft pattern. You don't want to allow your opponent to ban the big options against you. And yeah, there it is already. So they're banning out Morales, and they're trying to guide all of this a bit. Morales is, by the way, also a pick I could have totally seen on the last map together with CHO'GALL. So it's really a little bit surprising to me that they decided in favor of Lili. That did not work out for them at all. I mean, not even a little bit. Lili got interrupted 6 days to Sunday there the entire time. Wasn't really a need to get her this early. Li Ming gets banned. So again, Jimmy, Lunara still up for really nice immortal damage. There's the Stukov first pick. Obviously, we have, I believe, still Alexstrasza up, and she should be taken now pretty quickly. So, since nobody went full ham with the ban patterns on supports, and didn't go for a double support previously, we still have pretty decent options here, even in game number 5. Nobody was choking that out too hard. Would have been a little bit funny if they did, as I basically mentioned in game number 1. There's Alexstrasza, and we get Diablo together with her, which is a pretty good combo. It's a pretty powerful combo right there. But what about the damage now? Are we getting Jimmy? Lunara already? Or are they speccing into some completely different options now? Game 5 is always, at least on the side lane at the front line, a bit wild. With Stukov, they want to have stuns that they can follow up on. Mei and Soljan. Yeah, Soljan also a really nice option. Gets you the auto attack damage. You can stack into the late game. So that's pretty brilliant. Phoenix is another good choice potentially for Dino. Dino has been playing lots of Phoenix. Not necessarily on Battlefield of Eternity, more so when we were talking about Dragonshire, but technically speaking, you could go into Phoenix here too. If he just feels a stronger preference on Phoenix and thinks that would work for them, then that's a choice that would also work and give them some options here. So, yeah, you have Jimmy up. Well, he gets banned. Again, either banned or picked, that was to be expected. Lunara, Phoenix, those are picks that we've seen, obviously, from the red team in particular a few times already. With Shulgin locked in, you have a very strong order attacker here for the Gremlins, and somebody that can also stack very nicely into the later stages of the game. May at the front line, and here comes Probius. Okay. Oh, Probius and Kel'Thuzad. Yep, it's gonna get wild. What is Dequaza gonna pick? I mean, Dequaza could now make this into an absolute nasty game. But first we have the blue team with their final 2 picks. They already have a bit of an idea what they're going up against now. I think they were pretty happy getting Sul'jin and Stuko for themselves, but now they have to deal with that, and that's gonna be just nasty in and of itself. Illidan and Zarya. Yep, no main tanks over here. Diablo who? So they go into... well, sorry, they have Mei, my bad. They have Illidan on the side lane and Zarya for the shields. And then Stukov on top of this. So, yes, the Illidan play against Probius potentially, yeah? Go with the hunt for Probius. Maybe they even go Metamorphosis. That leaves us with the final pick. Again, final map in the series, of course. And we are getting Dequaza with... Gazlo, there it is. Talked about him earlier. So Probius, Kel'Thuzad, and Gazlo for game number 5. Yep, this is getting wild. Ladies and gentlemen, final map of the series, Battlefield of Eternity. The Gremlins, they're fighting it out in game number 5, and we have some crazy picks on both sides. On the left in blue, Banana Age with Stukov. Simply is playing Mei. We have Nano on Zarya, Setath on Sul'jin, and Gavlo is playing Illidan. Over on the right side, if you thought that Sul'jin Illidan was already wild, then let's just have a look what's happening over on Exodia side with Dainu on Kel'Thuzad. We're getting Benny on Diablo, Hazorps with Probius, Dequaza on Gazlo, and Yazu on Alexstrasza. I actually don't mind the Gazlo plays from Dequaza in the slightest, but remember, when they played their first series against DMW, they picked him first. Well, not first, but they picked him in the first map. And that was maybe a bit too much confidence. But, of course, here, map 5, you can definitely go for your Gazlo pick. That's a lot of push that they have at the top, and also zone control that they can start to use. On level 1, we're getting Zarya with Together We Are Strong. Something that they definitely have to prove now. And this series deserves a 5th map. I like it. Oh, and Dequaza deserves some heals, and he gets a few. Gavlo wanted to go deep and get himself a kill there. Barely missed out on that, but it was a close call. Went for Immolation on level 1, so we're all talking about some AoE that allows him to also take minion waves down a little bit faster. No stacking involved this time. Dequaza. Illidan is going to keep them busy, apparently from the beginning. But once that we have Kel'Thuzad stacked, that damage output is going to be pretty nasty. There's an interesting dynamic also between the lanes now, because at least for some time we had nobody covering the bottom of the map. Illidan is just now moving in there to deal with Probius. And for Probius, this is going to get fairly annoying once that Illidan makes an actual move and starts attacking. But Illidan in the late game is one way or another going to be a massive pain, so there's that. Depends always a bit on how much he can stack his baseline here. And takes just those pilots out quickly. That leads to Dequaza moving in and trying to assist. And that is actually making things a lot more dangerous for Gavlo. So all of a sudden it's a 2 versus 1. And Illidan will need help. He won't be able to do that all by himself. Not with those 2 sieging up on him. So the early game already very, very annoying for Exodia. For the Gremlins, it's again a similar situation. They have somebody that stacks very nicely into the late game. They have Illidan, who's obviously by definition a hero that thrives with forts destroyed in the later stages. So the dynamic that we've seen on Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen is essentially maintained. The Gremlins, they would love nothing more than heading into the late game on even footing with their opponents. If they can accomplish that, they have a really nice game ahead of themselves.
5 stacks for Sadath. So Suljin doing alright here. With level 4, we're now also grabbing us the Voodoo Shuffle. And topside, yeah, still the duo team with Benny and Yazu. But of course, one of the more important things is that the teams are now making their moves onto the Shaman camps and lining that up with the Immortal. And then things will get interesting. It's not so much Immortal damage that we're seeing here. Well, Suljin obviously can bring that in. But we also have all the damage in those team fights that comes from the teams. And again, some stacks for Dino. So that's 8 stacks now on the baseline of Kel'Thuzad, and that's pretty important. But the red team is losing their objective quickly. That halftime show goes nowhere. That halftime show is taken out within a very, very short period of time. 1, 2 more range attacks, and that thing is gone. But well, they need to get there first, because Kel'Thuzad is now moving back down, trying to do his thing there. And get some counter damage in. Same is also true for Gazlo. The attack at the top. Alexstrasza, careful. Benny, body blocked. Nice. And they won't be able to get a kill. They don't really have to. They're moving with Zarya onto the objective, take the halftime show victory, and try to snowball this a bit with their own momentum, as Illidan is, again, just this absolutely hyper-active nutjob that is topside and just jumps from one target to the next. They have to burn this down quickly. Will be able to pull that off. We have Dino trying to prevent it a little bit, or at least capitalize with stacks for himself, but this is a 50% shield now on the first objective. And Illidan, after not even moving in to help them out, jumped straight onto the camp at the top and just said, alright boys, we're going to get a bit more pressure there too. Has to hurry up as well. Obviously all powered by Immolation. And the timing works out. But for now, we get the Arcanite access for Suljin, so it's more stacks that are coming in, not only the baseline quest. Wants to complete that quickly though, so that he can really get value out of level 7. But progress has been slowed down slightly. So they're trying to change that at the top. Diablo going straight in for Gavlo, and Gavlo is able to get out now. So Gavlo is able to get away, still a bit low. Suljin with more and more stacks now, not only on the auto attacks, but also working that level 7 talent. The fort, it's down to 50%. They likely will not be able to eliminate it, but every single bit of damage helps here, and they get it way past the 50% mark. So, job well done. 5 minutes in, and we have a game on our hands. For sure. Growing Infestation for Stukov. That's a talent. Diablo again attacked here. And we get Ice Cold for Kel'Thuzad. 10 stacks now for Suljin. It's going to take him a bit until he gets his rewards here. 5 more and he gets the range increase at least. But yeah, there's another spike. And it hits Stukov. Banana in a bit of trouble. Diablo all alone against Suljin. So yeah, gets the wall stun and gets the kill. Well done by Benny. Was just waiting for an opportunity to get that charge in and connect that stun. And after that, Suljin was just instantly out. So now they're trying to follow that up with a second kill. Not quite able to do that, but at least a few more stacks for them. Dragon Queen used. Dino barely surviving, by the way. So barely making it out, but he lived, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Illidan is alone at the bottom of the map, but they're now fighting at the top with 5. So they're trying to get some counter value. Illidan will very happily attack that wall and use the Inspire buff on his minions. Keep in mind, he has Immolation, so he's going to take those minions out a lot faster. Gazlo is now slowly moving in, but you have the Inspire buff kicking through. You have the camp. So even with Gazlo arriving, that's a gate taken down, that's a tower eliminated, and that's decent value for the blue team. So they might not have gotten a kill yet and be down in that regard a bit. But still, they're doing some work here. This is the problem, though. Stukov gets tethered again and gets taken apart as the fort, granted, has suffered, but just not enough. Now, Illidan is doing a great job at the bottom of the map trying to control all of this and eliminates the next tower, so the entire wall is now gone. They have, with level 10 abilities, Metamorphosis actually for him. And Gavlo, it seems like he wants to kill. Tower obviously has some other priorities, and Nequaza eventually makes it out. But there's tons of pressure now on the side laner. And this is getting problematic. Yeah, in comes the hit with Guillotine. They're trying for Dino. The heal is in. Dino getting stunned.
Bit of a bait because Gazlo wanted the big wombo, and they even followed up with Apocalypse. So the idea of going straight into Grabber Bomb plus Apocalypse, a really nice one, but it didn't pay off, and Kel'Thuzad died, and now it's the Quasar that falls. So even with a halftime show victory nearly locked in for Exodia, they're now losing ground on the objective once again. And losing those two heroes, that's an issue in and of itself. There were a few moments where the synergy was also not that great for the Gremlins. I think the Guillotine actually did not connect because Zarya used her ult at the same time and pushed the target slightly out of range. Using the Guillotine now to also get value on the objective. It's definitely one way of using your ult. But it helps them to burn this down a bit faster. These plays that we're seeing from Dino, though, with the Glacial Spike and him tethering people is... yeah, pretty sick. Really sick. Suljin, any second now, gonna hit the 15, which is gonna be important for him, of course. You want that range increase as soon as you can. But while Gavlo is defending the top lane a bit, there is now action happening on the blue team's Immortal. So here comes again the Guillotine. Gavlo goes deep. They want the Immortal, and they get the Immortal. Ice Wall is out. Blue team is slowly moving back. Benny's still trying to force them into a fight. Sadath, he makes it out. And again, the reminder that he has not gone into Dastingo. So that's an important one too. So the blue team able to get themselves another Immortal. That's number 1. Sorry, number 2. Damage output right now, 22,000 for Suljin, 33,000 for Probius. Easy top damage in the game currently for the Probe. But down here, it's again time for Exodia to somehow try and defend here. Apoc engage, and then the big shot from Stukov to shut it down. Top side, Illidan going up against Probius, but down here, the Immortal isn't quite able to take the fort out, but they got close once again. So they're doing damage here. Suljin gets attacked. Not a problem for him, though. It might be a problem for Simply. Oh, May! That Ice Wall! Alright, baby. Well done. So, survives all of that. Red team is still a bit ahead in experience. Structurally, though, they're losing more and more ground. Now, don't get me wrong, we have seen damage at the top side fort on the blue team side too. Gavlo is trying to defend it as we speak. But still, blue team has lost a lot more hit points there and might lose both of their forts very, very soon. At the same time now, it's the red team looking for more kills and opportunities. Each team looking at 2 kills as we speak. Level 13 Talons now ready. That gives us for Kel'Thuzad also the chain link. They again get the connect, and they just crush Zarya. Yeah, she had absolutely no chance to get away here. The amount of CC that we got with this was way too much for her to handle. 38 stacks now for Suljin on 7, 19 on the baseline. Another good hit against Alexstrasza, just not good enough to get them a kill. Probius down at the bottom of the map. They want that fort. It allows Illidan more room at the top to try and take one too. And the red team is pushing. They're getting aggressive here. They want that fort and they want kills with it. So they're coming through on Stukov, and Stukov is gonna... Ooh, the shot was nice, but he's still gonna die. And he's not the only one. Probius gets the big double kill right there and is able to drop 2 of them. So Probius gone. Benny trying to follow this up further. It was maybe a little bit deep and could potentially get punished for that, but is still able to walk out. And Illidan has been pressuring the top lane through all of this and has also been able to get himself a fort destroyed. But the bottom of the map, it was still a positive trade for Exodia. And now they're also on the objective, and this might be the first one that they get. The red team with the momentum. With the momentum on the objective as they're pushing for the Immortal. Halftime show victory guaranteed. And of course the question that remains is how exactly are the Gremlins now going to do that? Quest completed on 7 for Illidan. Good for him. But the fight starts to rage on, and the blue team is dropping hit points. They're dropping quickly. Gavlo has still Metamorphosis, could still use it. They want Diablo, they heal from Alexstrasza, and they still are about to get that kill. They could get it here. Some stuns from Gazlo, and the Immortal will fall 100%. We've seen the entire time, one photon cannon after another, but it's just mind-blowing that Diablo made it out of the battle. Diablo made it out and was able to survive this. We have 25 stacks now for Suljin, so he's getting there. He has 41,000 damage. He's soon going to be top damage in the game. For now, it's Probius. But will Suljin come online too late in the game? Same also for Illidan. Same question. Has decided to not go Hunt, which would have helped with a few plays against someone like Probius. But it's still going to be very, very tricky for them. Another fort about to fall at the bottom of the map, but with this big of a shield on the Immortal, Exodia is aiming for way more than the topside fort. They want, of course, the keep. They're also going to have level 16 in just a few moments on this. So Illidan, he's attacking at the bottom of the map. Wants experience for the team and wants to potential. I mean, in an ideal world, you're forcing the opponent to back. Epoch, nicely linked after we had the Frost Blast, but simply still survives. Illidan, he's pushing the bottom of the map continuously. He is not giving up on this. They are essentially giving up on the fort at the top. Nice stuns. And they still are able to get away. So the blue team is really resilient here at the top. Illidan has finally retreated. They realize that they might lose more than the keep. But now the distance to safety is also enormous. So Exodia has to be very careful that they're not getting chased down. But they have also a shot at getting a kill or two and maybe go for the core. Illidan wants level 16. Rest of the team does as well. They could attempt to chase, but they're still not the talent down anymore. We have also with 60 now, wrong place, wrong time. 65 stacks for Suljin, so he has the numbers. He's about to complete his quest on the baseline as well, and then he gets the double hit. So this is going to stack him even more aggressively for him. But they're not there yet. 50,000 damage. Suljin is now top damage here, completes it. And can they now build it even further? Khaldor is in trouble. Metamorphosis is used and Dainu is gone. Dainu is gone and Suljin is stacking. Got a 5,000 damage in the last fight alone. Illidan is now just jumping from one target to the next. Diablo is gone. Illidan is not stopping. Can't stop, won't stop. They lost the keep, but they're taking heroes down. 5 kills to 5, and all of a sudden, a tiny experience lead even for the Gremlins. And their late game heroes are starting to reign supreme here. Illidan, bam! Face checks the bush and nearly gets insta-wrecked. Still alive, they go for Benny again, and Benny's gone. Benny's gone. They won't be able to get that top wall yet, but you can tell how difficult it starts to be to deal with not only Illidan, but also Suljin. Suljin has now, with a completed quest reward, the double swing available. He's already at 80 stacks on his level 7. He's going to stack this even more aggressively and further. So this is going to be mad. Mei goes down. That's a great kill for Exodia and a really important one. They have a limited amount of time here. They took down the opponent's keep at the top lane. That was huge. They themselves still have both their keeps and it's 6 kills to 6. The problem is that Suljin is now at 40 stacks on the baseline and 81 stacks on his level 7. His damage output 64,000. Probius was the top damage dealer the entire time. Now it's starting to switch. And it's just at that tipping point. Give them another 5-6 minutes and Suljin is going to be an even bigger monster. And of course that doesn't even account for Illidan, who has already hunted down Khaldor in that last encounter. But on the objective, it's a different story. With Mei gone, this is a chance for Exodia to get themselves another big Immortal and then get that keep at the bottom of the map. If they are able to pull that off, they could go for core. So, yeah, they're going to get this one. They're going to get another Immortal. Not with the same amount of shielding, but still a lot. A lot more than the Gremlins are comfortable with. I can promise you that much. Can they win it, though? Can they take it right there? And a quick reminder that we also do not have Tazdingo for Suljin. If he gets focused, he's gone. And once you lose Suljin, I mean, you need that damage output. Once the Immortal is gone and they're starting to chase, Illidan is going to be a massive asset. But Suljin, first and foremost, he needs to get the damage in. It does already. I mean, he gets good damage with the Arcanite access. Gavlo's jumping in and out, always trying to make sure that he's not getting locked down by the opponent. Stuns are obviously the worst thing that could happen to him. The shield nearly gone. Ice Wall. Epoch. And they try to come in to drop once more Kel'Thuzad. Dino gets healed by Alexstrasza. The fight is on. Suljin is just stacking and stacking as Illidan is diving in a little bit deeper. He's just glued to Dino the entire time. He wants Dino and he should eventually get him, but now he's completely isolated and has to somehow retreat here. Jumps back out, was not able to get Kel'Thuzad. The keep is still in play, but the question is for how long? Whoa! Keep is still here. They still have the keep, but holy crap. Both of the teams closing in on 20. And, wow. The Gremlins, they're literally on the last sliver of health for the final keep that they're holding. But Gavlo's, the Gremlins, their fight potential is just crazy. Game number 5 is insane. And again, Illidan just jumping so deep. If they get him stunned just once in that situation, he's toast. But Gavlo played it well. Saved himself, got out, connected with the rest of the team, and now we have level 20 talents. That gives us the demonic form. We get also forest medicine, unyielding defender, and for Illidan in particular, and for Suljin, those are big, big upgrades now. So we'll see what they can do with those. Level 20 on the red team. I'm gonna hit this any second now. And yeah, they need, I mean, if they can land a similar combo to what they tried earlier, where they go for a gravel bomb and then an apocalypse, that could destroy the entire blue team within a moment. The damned return. You can already see what exactly Dino is thinking here. We're getting construct additional pylons, always a good idea. And then Ritual of Life. So it's the blue team that is pushing now. They get big damage in on Dequaza, but no kill. Dropping the guillotine again. Big damage that Sadath just got here, but wasn't able to get the kill. But they have, of course, with Suljin's auto-attack damage, now a fantastic tool to take the Immortal down too. And that doesn't even account for his level 7 talent. If these fights are long, he's going to stack it further, and that's more and more damage that they're going to get through that. So, once again, we have the ult of Kel'Thuzad being used. Illidan is jumping in, is saying hello in the back line. Gavlo needs to be very sure that he wants to fight these. So he's jumping onto the minion wave as well. Can always re-engage. Deals with the top so that the core is not going to get attacked, depending on how long this one lasts. And, yeah, Gavlo, he's working it. 46,000 damage on Illidan. That is not shabby. 69,000 damage for Probius. Nice. And they go for Diablo. Big damage, but not big enough. Yeah, that ult on Zarya was maybe just a tad too late. If they can isolate him further, then I think Diablo is history. But it's now, again, this one matters. This is going to be a big and important objective, and the red team is currently taking it. They're doing better here. They're doing a great job on this one. If they take it, it's likely game. If you take the Immortal right now, if you're Exodia and you claim another one, you're likely winning this. And the blue team knows it. They would love to delay this further. Get the Ice Wall out. They catch a couple. Can they get the hits? They can. Kel'Thuzad is gone. Diablo is gone. Illidan, straight on Azur. Here come the heals from Alexstrasza, and Illidan is just not giving up. Gavlo wants the kills, and he's getting the kills. They're taking down 3. It's a triple, baby. And at the bottom of the map, a big shove against Dequaza. Nobody assisting here currently. They're all moving back towards the objective to ensure that they're not only winning the halftime show, but also deny the Immortal to the red team and take it for themselves. But, well, we got a couple of friends over here. And Dequaza, if they get him off that mount, he's dead. Yep, he's dead. Dequaza is dead, and that is also, of course, a delayed kill, so that makes it worse. Gazlo is gone. Gazlo is eliminated. 108 stacks for the level 7 talent on Suljin. 53 on the baseline. His damage exploding over here. Illidan is dealing with a catapult. Somebody has to. The core is losing hit points. Alexstrasza was sitting at the top, and Yasuo's now moving back. No keep standing. 87% on the core. They can't backdoor this. They can't get there. So now we have basically everybody back for Exodia, with the exception of Gazlo. He'll be back in 30 seconds. Gavlo's Gremlins have not won this yet. It's looking good right now, especially as long as Suljin is alive. But one kill, one good play, and this could all go down the drain again. Illidan is in. Demonic form. He wants to be aggressive. Gets targeted now by Khaldor, but look how quickly that keep disappears. That keep is just gone within second. Melts away. They go through it like hot butter through cheese. Taking it with ease. As now we're having the core under attack and they're losing it quickly. That Immortal is murdering it. Illidan, they're getting stunned out. Illidan's still fine, and that's game. The Gremlins with a victory. The Gremlins take it. They win the series, move on to the next round in the winner bracket, and send Exodia into the losers bracket.